Oh shit! I think we're recording right now, boy. I think we're recording.
Wait.
It's recording time.
It's recording. Wait, make
Listen,
sure.
Don't put your cheap like welfare glasses into the goddamn screen, right?
No, welfare.
None of those guys want to.
These glasses. These are $300 glasses.
You got ripped off. You know what these are? Free plug for a company online that they for 2 seconds I was about to mention the name and then I said fuck it, but these were $7. These were $7. You know what?
Oh yeah, I know. You hit me to that now after I paid $300.
I mean, I've been telling you for a while. That's a good company right here that we're not gonna mention because they ain't pay us no money. Anywho, welcome to the show, guys. This is another episode of the Ronnie and Markell Make a Podcast.
Yeah.
Zoom edition.
Woo!
Behind me, into my home, my beautiful poster.
I feel like I never know what exactly you can see on my end in camera land. So my stuff. Look,
I mean, wait. I'm sorry. Your viewpoint. What can you see? You can just see.
My viewpoint. I see myself. Like I see you, and I see all the stuff behind you, and then I see me. And I see, like, I can see Bart, I can see the boxes here, but I don't know if anybody can see anything other than that around
Whatever
me.
you see on screen, welcome to Ronnie Gets Old edition of Zoom, where he doesn't know that whatever you see on screen is what other people are going to see.
Okay.
They're not going to go, oh, I got a 360 camera, let me lean over there. Hey,
okay. I know, like I got some laundry on the couch I didn't fold up yet. I didn't know if people are like, God, like, clean up your shit. You didn't put that away?
See, that's the special.
You saw that last week.
That's the Zoom priority account. And you also have to be a Patreon subscriber in order for you to see the junk in my house.
Oh.
You can't see that.
Yeah, coming soon. That's behind the scenes.
You want to see? Because it's like, hey, you know what's funny in Zoom? You don't know if anybody's wearing pants.
You know, that too, but you know what's funny? Yeah, we had a Patreon where we did like the simplest shit that would make fans mad. It's like, pay $5 extra. You can see what I do before he presses record on Zoom. And then, like, you pay, like, oh, yeah, I want to see. You pay, you just see me pouring a cup of water and then sitting down. And then that's it. They'll be like, what the fuck? I paid $5 for that? This is some bullshit.
Man, it's not about the fact that you know, if somebody asked you that question, what does Markell do right before pressing the button? And I'm just sitting there like,
I think my hair is okay. All right.
All good. We're all looking good. Hair is always wonderful. So jumping right into the show this week, there's a ton of content that we've been some places. We'll start there. We'll start with where the fuck have we been? That's a lovely
shit.
Where the fuck
have we been? Man, I've been all over the equation.
I was on vacation for a little bit. I went to Virginia, I went to North Carolina, and I went to South Carolina.
And he survived, y'all. He survived, y'all.
That was the globe. And now here we are back, and I'm still good. Like everything's still functioning, still working. But when I got back, immediately I jumped on the road and went out with this guy here, as well as Queen of the Universe and Part-Time Eric, which you've heard on the show before. And if you have not, those are other people that are not regularly on the show, but they are part of the family. We went to AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C.
I drove to Washington, D.C., y'all. That shit was not... That shit was not for
from New Jersey to Washington.
That shit was not for the faint of heart. I'm gonna say, like, shout out to Queen of the Universe and Part-Time Eric, because if they weren't in the car to like keep me, you know, company and talk to me and stuff like that, I'd have lost my damn mind. And I probably would have hours. I would have probably made way more frequent stops too. I probably would have made at least 6 or 7 stops just for, you know, to complain like my legs, my knees.
3.5 hours? Like that's
3 hours is like my limit when it comes to driving. So once you get
Carolina is 10 hours, Ronnie.
Yeah, you have fun with that. I would have been on a plane. I would have been on the plane for sure. But 3 hours 3 hours. I would have been on a fucking plane in a hazmat suit. Like I can't do it.
If you can allow me to take an oxygen tank on the plane, which is you're not going to allow me to do, I'll be okay with that.
Because I think at the half hour mark, I felt myself like.
Half hour mark or halfway through?
No, I mean like 3. Like we made the 3 hours, but I swear like that last 30 minutes when we were getting there, like I kept looking at the GPS on my phone.
Did you stop?
No, we didn't. No, straight trip.
We did. You messed up. Maybe they'll stop for bathroom breaks. We stopped. You know, we stopped, dude.
Like I went, like I ate breakfast. I filled up my gas tank before I picked them up, and then we just shot. I did ask them a couple times when we were driving, like, anybody want me to stop, snacks, and no. We just.
I mean, they were just passengers, so they don't need to do nothing. They just like, we're good. You driving? You're the one that's sitting there trying to keep steady and keep going, and you just keep looking at at some point you just start looking at the road and you're just like, I'm just endlessly driving. Like,
you start fucking with yourself mentally and you're like, am I there yet? Please, God, I can't.
You look at GPS. The funniest thing for anybody who's traveled from New Jersey down to Washington or further, the funny thing is, when the minute you get onto the turnpike, and you got to go towards like I-95, this is a part of the podcast where we give you GPS directions. You jump onto turnpike, and I guess you had to jump on the turnpike because you were coming from north.
Yeah, I got on the turnpike.
And the funniest thing was, you literally, you're going and you look at your GPS, and just like mine, I'm pretty sure it said like in 99 miles, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember when I first put the address in when we first left, and it said 100. It was like 190 something miles to go. I was like, okay, all right. In my head, when I put that in, I wanted to press cancel, and then look in the back seat, go like, yeah, I ain't going, y'all. Yeah, I ain't going. Like, oh, y'all want to go to the airport, see if we can get some last minute plane tickets?
Nah, man, I'm good.
That drive, like, I know they appreciate it, but yeah, that drive was, whew. And if you think about it, then I drove, 6 hours, almost 7 hours, there and back.
Yeah, 7 hours round trip, yeah. That's what I said. That's what, for me, back to back, I was just like, I drove Jersey, stopped in Virginia, stopped in North Carolina, stopped in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Jersey. I don't know what. I remember. Wait, I'll just to add on to like the celebrities that we met along the way. We were going to travel to for AwesomeCon. The big one was none other than Back to the Future itself. Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. Which this lovely little photo here. If you're watching the Zoom edition, you'll get a chance to see it. If not, why are you not watching the Zoom edition? What you doing?
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, look at that.
Check that out. Check it out. Oh my God. That moment when we were, I feel like for me,
I got the Instagram for the full picture.
The most exciting part was when they told us to come forward through the curtain. I felt like I had butterflies in my stomach. Like, oh my God. Were we in the same room as Marty and Doc? that was, wait, and did security not ask me what I'm doing and like Tribeca?
Nope.
I was like,
ask you anything. A little fun fact for anybody, for a little backstory there. This picture here is actually the second picture that was taken. Because the first picture that was taken was me with my eyes closed, like.
Oh yeah.
Like I blinked. And I like went out there, and it was like they stopped it was like they were doing it like a conveyor belt, like going go. And when they got to me, and I was just like, I got my picture. I'm like, oh no,
I saw you freezing, like like. But it was nice of them that they were nice enough to let us go do it again.
Like reshoot, they gave me a roll ticket. Go back through there.
And then for me, I was kind of glad you you did blink because we got to see him again.
They're looking at us like, hey, I see you again.
Yeah, I saw Christopher Lloyd kind of look at us like weren't they here? Like, so maybe they, They were just sitting there. So, and they had
awesome con for actually making the process. What's that?
They had the plexiglass, right?
Yes. If you in the picture, if you look at it on Instagram, you can see it a little bit clearer.
Now theirs. I know we're talking about Monster Mania too, but they were. I felt like Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox were a little bit less paranoid than Brad Dourif. And I know, like it to each his own with your comfort level. But Brad Dourif was in a plexiglass box. Like he was literally Hannibal Lecter style in a fucking closed off plexiglass box. So it was like, holy shit, this guy ain't playing around.
Which is, at the same time, you also have to think of that as like, he's taking this, pandemic very seriously. And he's around all these people who could potentially, infect him or whatever. But also, you got to think of it as on the meta level. He's Chucky. He's in a box.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like
in that way,
I think they should have painted. They should have painted it like a good guy box or something. That was a missed opportunity.
I tell you, that was a missed opportunity. How much stuff do you need? You literally just need like a giant cardboard that you wrap around this plexiglass box. And anybody who wanted, because I'm gonna be honest. Who the hell wants a full body of Brad Dourif? Like,
right?
Who the fuck wants a full body? Like, if I want to take a picture with the dude, all I really want is pretty much what you see on the Zoom screen right now, which is like.
Well, I know we're flip flopping, but here's my picture.
Oh.
You can see you can see the line in between, but other than that, I thought it was pretty cool.
Which I'll say for. The graphic designers out there like myself, I would say the Brad Dourif picture is probably a lot easier to clean up than the other one. Because Ronnie, you're really close to the. Actually, I'm gonna cut you out anyway and put myself right next to you guys.
Bam! I know we're gonna do this in a minute, but I was like, oh
no, it's fine. There's no order here. This is how we do our show. Look at that. So Ronnie was fortunate.
Oh, but wait, one thing. Switching back to AwesomeCon for a second. Sorry to cut you off, but the only gripe I had with AwesomeCon is parking. We had to pay for parking, which wasn't a huge deal. But on the website,
park on the street?
It did say that parking was free. Which kind of gave me the impression that they had a giant parking lot somewhere that we could just park in.
No, I told you what it was. So the Walter E. Convention Center in Washington D.C. around the building is free parking because it's your street parking. Like you do.
But see, they don't really make that clear on the website. It just said parking is free. That's all it said. I'm like, oh, cool. So it gave me the impression that they it's gonna pull into a giant parking lot like when you go to Target or Walmart. And even if I have to park, 2 miles away from the building, we're good. But I mean, if you've ever been in the city of Newark, there was no way in fucking hell I was parking on the street because they make fucking signs and shit so complicated that you have no idea that if I'm parking here, oh wait, you can't park here after 4, and you come out and you got 17 tickets on your car. So it was better off just parking in a parking lot.
So if you haven't, figured it out yet, me and Ronnie traveled to the same place, and with Part-Time American, Queen of the Universe. We traveled in separate cars though. Like, I was with my wife, and he was,
awesome.
And we got to the hotel a little bit, and we got to the city of Washington a day earlier because we wanted to see Washington. Unfortunately, Washington had this thing happen on January 6th. Not sure if anyone's aware of it. Called all possible insurrection. So yeah, Washington is not exactly tourist friendly right now. Because when I the little fun story. I don't think I told you this. A little fun story. So we were at a hotel, whatever, and the night before, because I originally was trying to see if we could record this show at the show, but it didn't work out because we were tired as fuck afterwards because there was just like a lot of walking and stuff. So we pretty much recorded a show. You're getting it now. Surprise. So I went to Walmart the night before to buy myself a little book bag with my laptop and stuff, like this book bag right here, which I am keeping in immaculate condition because my ass is basically going to be taking the shit back because I only needed it for one day, so it's going back. Because it was like $25.
Don't take it back.
Yeah, I'm taking it back. So the funny thing was that I went to the Walmart in Washington, and everybody knows downtown Washington. You know what I'm talking about. And I was I looked on the GPS and I was like, oh shit, Walmart and Target are from our hotel was a mile. Wasn't far at all. I was like, cool. I'm driving around and I'm looking around. And I'm like, where the hell is this Walmart? So I go, and for the first time ever, listen, I'm from Jersey, so I don't know. Like I've been to other places, and Walmarts are usually in shopping centers, like plazas and stuff like that. This Walmart was in an office building.
Oh wow, that's
I was like, what the fuck is it? Like, I literally, you go around the corner, you make a right, and you go into like the underground parking. And underground parking that was free, and that's what made me think of what that Walmart when you said like, oh yeah, I thought it was gonna have like parking somewhere that you could just go for free. And I went there and I went up the escalator into there, and I'm looking around. They got this tiny ass Walmart that they basically crammed like all of the departments you could think of in Walmart into your average office space of like probably, you know, an office size of like 100 people. They took a Walmart and crammed it in there. And I'm like, this is weird. Like they had a food section, but if you go to the food section, it was like 4 freezers and like, you know, one section where milk is. And then like right when you leave the milk, it's like auto parts. And right when you leave auto parts, it's like electronics. And it's like everything was just like fucking crammed. And it's like the tiniest thing. And it's like, it was, the only reason I brought it up is because it was funny to me because that same Walmart is only a few steps away from the Capitol. And I was just like, I just wonder if any of those people who decided to be stupid, yeah, I'm going to call it stupid, and try to run and invade the Capitol, stopped at this Walmart beforehand. Like, did they?
Oh, like got something to drink or something. Like, yeah, let me. We're about to go. Yeah, we're about to go ride at the Capitol. Let me stop and grab me an orange juice real quick.
For real, you standing in line and you about to like you sitting there doing self checkout because you were getting all your stuff and it's like, ma'am, could you get a price check on this? Like,
yeah,
you were about to before this.
Can you get a price check on this aluminum bat? It said it was supposed to be $7.99. It's coming up $10.
You're like, did y'all? I just want to know if I can look at the camera for that day. If there were people who went to that Walmart and like literally, oh, we gonna camp outside. We gonna get some camping stuff, and we gonna do like that's really Walmart really that close to the Capitol. But back to the show.
Well, the building itself, I'd say, looked very similar to the C2E2 in Chicago. Like the whole setup, even the fucking escalators to go inside, it was very well organized. I had to say that, very well organized. Like almost a little like too organized to the point where it's a little scary. I was like, yo, people are just coming in. There's people everywhere to direct you which way to go. And I was like, yo, this is like, yo, they running a tight ship up in here. Like, this is, like, I felt like it was flawless. They had the little food concession stand inside. The lines didn't take that long. Like, I mean, there was a lot of people, but there wasn't a lot of people, if that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about.
There were probably a crowd of at least 500 people.
Yeah, maybe. It didn't seem like there were thousands. It seemed like, yeah, maybe a couple hundred people were there.
And I would say that includes the vendors. Like there were vendors there as well. If you take all the vendors, there was about 100 vendors, and then attendees, there was like 400 people. So it was like a big convention with a small convention feel. There were some people that were there. We saw some guys. Ronnie got a chance to see his writing comic sensei. Amy.
Oh yeah, my teacher when I took the Kubrick course a year ago. Yeah, Amy Chu. She instilled.
Let me go ahead and before some asshole tries to research this fucking episode years later and go, Markell just called Amy Chu sensei because she's Asian. It's not a reason that I fucking call her there. Let me be very clear. I'm teacher. I want to make sure in 2021 that no one can come take this shit out of context. Okay?
Oh, okay, all right. You don't want this to come out like 10 years from now, like Markell said. Markell
because that's what a teacher is. They use that term. Like I just literally said.
No, but yeah. I took her writing course on script writing, which was dope last summer. Last summer during the Kubrick school, and yeah, I was just stopping by. It felt a little surreal to finally see her in person because we had only seen each other virtual. And other than that, I mean, what else did we do? We walked around. We met some cool vendors. I got this wonderful little Michael Myers I already put it up on my wall.
Was it Proton Designs?
Yeah, Proton.
Yeah, Proton.
I believe. What was it?
Also an artist who he did some work with what do you call
it? Did I get his? Yeah. Shoot, I forget. Yeah, I think it's Proton. If you look him up on Instagram.
Proton. You can look him up on Instagram or he has a Patreon as well.
He definitely has an art style within itself. Like, it's pretty dope. But the Michael Myers one, he had a lot of dope ones, but the Michael Myers one stood out to me. I thought that's hilarious.
Because it's just simple. It's very simple. It's like it's very simple.
I think it's because it's simple. But if you know the legacy of Michael Myers, you know he's all but fucking simple.
But that's the cool thing is he's actually quite stoic. Like he does not emote emotion based on his mask. Same thing with Jason. They have no emotion to their mask. So they could be standing there and you're begging, please, I have kids, and he is emotionless. His idea, he's like,
no empathy at all. We've seen what he's capable of.
He will just literally grab your head and crush your head.
Which, you know what? I'm so mad. Missed opportunity. I'm pretty sure I'll maybe be able to get him in the future. But I did not remember this until after Monster Mania. I know flip-flopping between cons. But that Danny Trejo was at Monster Mania, and he got murdered by Michael Myers in one of the movies, even though it was kind of fucked up because he was the only person that was actually nice to him in the Rob Zombie Halloween. I was like, that was fucked up that he murdered the shit out of him anyway. He's like, but I was nice to you.
Just getting on to Michael Myers for just a second. It's been years later. Can you look up on Google how long it's been since the Rob Zombie the first movie?
Rob Zombie Halloween? Damn, was that like 2011? I'm just guessing.
Let's see. Ronnie might be on point. 10 years ago?
Here we go. Rob Zombie Halloween. Oh no, I'm wrong. 2007.
Okay, 2007. So 14 years ago, we got another one coming out this year called Halloween Kills, which looks amazing. That comes out. That it just premiered like some clips and stuff at CinemaCon, which just recently passed.
Which is funny because either in this Halloween Kills, I feel like either Michael Myers finally murders the shit out of Laurie Strode, or does his legacy finally come to an end? I don't know. Oh, but I don't think it does because they already have like another sequel.
There's a third one to this. Yeah, there's a Halloween Kills again. Yeah. So my thing is, I have still yet to see a moment in that really like was as sadistic as that first scene of him beating the bully. That shit. I don't know if you remember that scene.
Oh, wasn't he beating him with like a 2x4 or some shit?
A stick. It was a branch off a tree, but it was a thick one. If you get a chance. Anybody, not just you, Ronnie, but anybody get a chance and you want to see some sadistic horror shit, your little boy, Michael Myers, for like 10 minutes. Like, that shit is long. It's so long that it looks like in the editing, they didn't know what else to show. They started showing the sky.
I think they started cutting to like the trees and the ground, and you just still hear them hitting them.
Yo! Yeah! I was sitting in the gym.
I mean, that scene is supposed to emphasize, the empathy he doesn't have, and all that shit, and how sadistically brutal he can be.
It told me that dude, if you mess with Michael Myers, you might get them hands, and they are dead. Like his shit, his hands. I just want to use this. I know I'm borrowing this from somebody, but his hands is rated E for everybody. Everybody can get these motherfucking hands. Like, goddamn. Like it is a. Other
than that, still got to get my hands on that Halloween Kills poster because that shit looks awesome. But I did.
And they're making a NECA toy too. That was announced this week. The NECA toy looks great.
I gotta get that too. I also grabbed some pretty cool new pops at Awesome Con, but I forgot.
Wait. Before you show that, let me just wanna reveal this thing here. You see this here? It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Hold on a second. It's about to
open that up. Open that bad boy up.
I want to warn some people. It's about to get sexy.
Looking down there, boy. Look at that.
Not a motherfucking Chris. Now wait. It's a funny thing. I don't remember because we started and we just like jumped right into the con and going to everything. But I didn't tell you like exactly how I was able to go through the line a little bit faster than normal. So they had the. So I got there early, like Ronnie and everybody. And
we got there what? We got there like 10:30. We got there about
10:30. I was at the con since about 7:30, 7:45. Like I was outside in the line waiting to like get in or whatever from that point because I wanted to go straight in. Now the only thing is they really didn't open the doors until about like 9:30. So the thing is that they did a couple different because they really wanted. I'm telling you right now, if you came to this convention, whether you bought stuff online or not, and you wanted to get something autographed, this Awesome Con wanted to make sure if you came with money, you did not leave with money.
Yes.
They were trying to make sure.
Yeah.
If you wanted a signature of somebody, regardless of whatever was going on, they had time slots for everybody. So I was able to go through the first time slot was like 9:30. So literally, it was like I'll put it like this: it was just an honor system. So apparently, they had like if you were VIP and you ordered the if you wanted to get the signature, which you could just pay for at the table, which is what I did. They had VIP, and VIP was able to get into the exhibited floor a half hour early. So I was down there about 9:30. Now, wait, where is it at? Let me just pull this up here. The thing that's behind Ronnie, and this thing right here. Now, when you look this here, does that look like VIP to you, Ronnie?
Nope. Looks like
got the VIP over here.
Like a regular tag like mine over here.
But here's the thing, right? So when you got to the area for VIP, it was just like, oh, hey guys, welcome all VIP people. And I'm standing there looking at the people to my left, the people to my right. And all I did was this. I had my pass, turn that bitch around. I am not going to sit there. Wait, when I turn it around, it just says Sunday. So I'm looking like, all right, so I got VIP. So I'm with these people. And it's a small group of people. It's like 25 people. Christopher Lloyd, he comes out, people clapping, yay, come over. And they're just like, okay, everybody, like, you got your VIP and stuff. Like, you pay for your thing online. I was like, oh, actually, I didn't get a chance to pay for it online. They're like, okay, no problem. Come over here. Now, as I'm walking over towards the guy, like, they're walking over and bringing me over towards the thing. This goes from around my neck to right inside. Now I got this going on the whole time. Like,
he's like, oh, yeah. They see the lanyard. They see the lanyard string, so you know I'm legit.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah. I just want to keep it. Like, literally. Now, wait. Here's the thing. Somebody asked me, like, oh, why do you have that there? I said, oh, I have this here because I'm actually now. Yeah, you know. I was like, I have a cosplay on underneath these clothes, so I don't want to. I want to keep it. Oh, no problem. Who you playing? I thought of somebody real quick. I was like, Miles Morales. And the guy was like, okay. And I'm like, what the fuck you think I had a Miles Morales? You got a black T-shirt on.
Oh my god! Hey, listen. So,
literally,
he's giving you the benefit of the doubt.
The minute I finished or whatever, I literally like slipped, like I got my autograph and I'm walking away. I'm like, holy shit, this is actually happening. So I literally pulled it out and just dropped it and like put it there. And the guy just like looked at me like, why? I was like, motherfucker. Like he just got away. Like he got into the convention 30 minutes early, and he got into a line that he wasn't supposed to be in. My group, the time frame, I didn't even have a time frame or whatever for that. I had a time frame for the photo op that you see in the picture. But yes, that was my little. Yeah,
yes, I know that. I was there. Remember?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. I mean, like that's the thing. Like you sometimes you can be VIP even when you're not.
Well, I feel like to match that story with Monster Mania, it was a better experience this year with getting in. Remember the last time we were there and you fucking left me. Remember we were walking in the last time, what was that, 2019? We went to Monster 2019 we go, and we're going up through the line, and there's like a long ass line to get in to buy tickets. And then we just went through the front, and the guy, I think he asked you like, "Oh, are you press? Are you photography or something?" And you were just like, "Yeah." And then he like, "Oh," and he like, and then I tried to follow you in behind, and then he like cut me off like, "Yo, my man, where you going?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm with him." He's like, "Okay, the table's over there." And I was like, "Bring out." Oh, but I mean, it wasn't that funny at the time, but it was hysterical now. But this year,
wait, Ronnie, hold on a second. I don't know what you're talking about. I would never.
Yeah, okay.
I would never.
Yeah, that's for you.
Thing. I have my camera and I have my press pass. I was pressed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the invisible press.
That's the thing. They literally like. I know this is like. It will be possible that somewhere I'm like actually putting myself out there, but I guess statute of limitation is gone. If once the man want to come for me, they come for me. I'll pay $50. So this is where like, okay, I came in to have my camera.
Well, no, technically, if you want to be technical about it, it wasn't your fault because the particular volunteer asked you. You didn't ask anything. He asked you.
Step further. When he asked me, I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, oh, hold on a second. So when I walked away from Ronnie and left his ass in the dust, I went up and then I came back down because I went up and asked somebody, hey, where do I go to get the press badge? And the guy got, oh, no problem. Come with me. He walks back over. He brings me back over to the guy. And then he just like, oh, yeah. Oh, let me bring over to the table. So I'm standing over there at the table. And this guy is literally my Paul Heyman. He just standing there, I'm just Brock Lesnar, just standing there. And he just literally like, oh yeah, he needs a press. I think you need one badge, right? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's one badge. He's like, all right, you're going to be using the camera and stuff? He's like, all right, let me put the thing on the camera so people know it's pressed. Put the little sticker on my camera lens. Oh, thank you. Then he gave me the band. He's like, all right, you good? You need some water or anything? We got like water in the back and stuff. I was like, you know what? Yeah, let me
Meanwhile, I was like, please, I need my stapler.
I'm still in line, like, I'm just trying to get in. Get line.
No, it didn't take me that long, but this year they kept it moving. Like the line, like when you first walk into the hotel, it wasn't the process where you walk straight down that long corridor and you make a right and the tables are in there. This time, as soon as you walked in, you step to the left and they had tables right there. And they were like,
they were doing it in the lobby right there.
Yeah, they were doing it right in the main lobby, and so I was like, oh, this is a lot faster. So and I went with Muffin of the Nerd Blast. Check them out as well. So I went with them. I went with Muffin, and yeah, I thought that we were gonna be waiting in line for a long time, but no, when we got in, it was pretty quick.
It was pretty quick.
We went from there straight to our photo op, and then. Oh my God! I have to tell you the one thing about the photo op. Now, it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience meeting Brad Dourif, first and foremost. Even if he wasn't plexiglass, I know because of dumbass COVID and stuff. But I think I was a little ticked off at the fact that, and I will know for the foreseeable future in terms of cons. So, on the website, they advertised $60 for Brad Dourif, so it was like $60 with tax, and I got the digital download, so I paid like $80 to get the picture. So we were waiting in line to get the picture, and then one of the guys that was in charge, I guess he mentioned something about plexiglass to somebody in line, and they were not okay with that. They were like, they got angry, they got mad, and they demanded a refund. The guy was very nice to them, and he said, hey, listen. If you don't want the picture with Brad Dourif with plexiglass, you're more than welcome, to a refund. And then he made an announcement to all of us. He said, I will let everyone know now. You are taking a picture with Brad Dourif. He is in plexiglass. The plexiglass will show up in your picture. If you don't want that, you can go over to the dealer and they will kindly give you a refund. Like cash. They will give you a refund, whatever you paid. So I'm like, oh man, no, I'm not gonna do that. I want this my picture with Brad Dourif for that. I just thought it was I was only a little ticked off later on in the day to get to Brad Dourif to in his autograph line to find out that he was doing selfies for only $25. So I was like. If I would have known that earlier, I probably would have taken that refund. Because I'm like, wait, you mean I could have had $80 extra at the con?
Other autographs right there.
Yeah, like, so I could have still got a picture with him and had money to get autographs of other people, or just take that money on. Yeah, cool, got extra money to take on. I was just like, that was the only thing, but I know they're trying to make their money, so they don't advertise that on. Now, I don't even know if that might have been something they made up last minute, because even at Brad Dourif's like table, he was selling like, you know, different autograph 8x10s like this one, which he signed for you, and he put a quote if you wanted it. But there wasn't any signage that indicated like that he was taking selfies. So they might have just done that on the fly. That might have been just him and his handler, and they might have asked him like, "You want to take selfies?" And he said, "Okay," like, because he was being very cautious of that too. They had like black tape on the floor, like that was 6 feet for you to stand on, and he was pointing at it every picture, like, to, you know, like, he was very safe and precautious then too. But I just said that was kind of meta, because I was like, wait, 20 when he told me the price too, I was like, because I asked him when I finally got up there, I was like, will Brad is he doing any selfies? And the guy was like, oh yeah, he's doing selfies. How much are the selfies? $25. I swear I was standing there for a minute like, I'm sorry, come again? Like, $25. $25. And I paid $81 downstairs. Okay. All right. I wanted for 10 seconds. I wanted to be like, I'm gonna put my stuff down for a second. Could you just kick me? I'm gonna bend over, because I paid $80 when I could have paid $25. Like, okay.
And you got the professional picture though, you know.
But no, yeah. But you know, I look at the positive. I got 2 pictures of Brad Dourif, so which is awesome. So
like fly or something just flew past my head. Like, what the hell? Yeah, I mean that I wish now. Just so you guys are aware, like, the reason that you're not hearing me talk about my Brad Dourif experiences, because that was when I was on vacation. So I didn't
yeah. You were in
fortunate, very cool at. Like,
that was when you went to South Carolina, right? Yeah, South Carolina. But we did. I mean, I did try to steal your autograph a few times, but you know, Queen of the Universe wouldn't let that happen. So
what I got is a nice, beautiful metal plate on a 11x14 metal plate board, and it's actually the picture from the poster from Child's Play 2 mounted onto this beautiful metal plate. So the scissors, if anybody knows the actual print, I'll share it once I get it from Queen of the Universe. The scissors on the plate are actually metal, but the plate itself is metal as well, so you can actually see the shimmer of the blades on there. So, you know, I didn't want to just choose some basic ass 8x10 or some basic
well, you know what I forgot is that they made that particular poster into a pop. I totally forgot that, and I have it. But yes, my basic pop is now not so basic because it's all signed up, baby. Woo! Wow. It's signed by Brad Dourif. It's also signed by Alex, who played Andy, and it's signed by Fiona Dourif. So yeah. Which is me. I was like, fuck. It wasn't until we were driving home that I realized, wait, I forgot about the fucking guy from Fright Night. I was like, God damn it, I forgot to get him to sign it. I'm like, I didn't remember, like, wait, yeah, he was a part of that franchise too. He was in the first one, which I'm hoping, and you know, I think I said it on the show before, I'm hoping that maybe he played even a cameo. I'll take a fucking cameo that he shows up in some form on the Chucky show. Being that, you know, it's a brand new show, but the original character is gonna be sprinkled throughout it. Like, it would be just meta if him and Andy's mom showed up at some capacity on the show. That would be dope. Oh, but I also got one other really cool thing, and it sucks. I totally forgot the guy who what his company was called, but there was a guy, he was selling these, which are like he basically made like a vintage looking newspaper of the origin of different horror movie people. So there's a picture of Charles Lee Ray, like right before he puts the body into he put his body in the dog, and I got that. And I got him to sign that too. And it has like his whole origin story, like Charles Lee Ray, also known as Lakeshore Strangler.
How much were they selling that for?
Wait, and yeah, that's the best part. You gotta try to guess how much this was.
$10?
Yeah, $10. I'm like, that was incredibly cheap.
But all he's doing is basically taking something really cool, which is a movie prop, and literally Xeroxing it and selling it. Like, that's
but like you have to, like, I have to show it to you in person. Like, you take it out of the frame, like the paper. I don't know what type of paper, but it even has burn marks on it. Like it's old vintage or whatever.
I'll tell you what kind of paper it is, and I don't even have to be there. It's called newsprint. Newsprint's a super cheap paper to like have. It is what.
How did they put the burn marks on it? Like the paper was almost in a fire or some shit.
I don't know. That's called a lighter, Johnny.
Oh, you think he actually took a lighter and set it on fire a little bit?
Dude, how many of those do you... Wait, I'm sorry. If you're just sitting there and, like, you're just sitting in the garage or you're sitting in the basement or you're sitting outside and you got, like, a stack of 100 of these papers and all you need to do is just burn them in, like, different spots.
Well, that's fucking... Well, I give him all the props in the world because that shit takes time to do, because he didn't just have Chucky. He had like Michael Myers, he had Jason, Freddy Krueger.
That's brilliant, though. That is
he had like what is it, like if whatever fucking horror franchise you're into, even fucking Human Centipede, he had like different like iconic villains and like their origins and stuff. It was like
that makes sense. Like if I was now all the stuff I'm saying, I don't know how this guy made it. I'm just telling you the practical way that you could make that. Yeah. All he really needs to do is get some type of movie prop of the paper, because I forgot. Yeah, a lot of those old school movie franchises was around before social media, and we read our news online. A lot of shit was on the front of the paper, or at least in the front of that particular daily paper or whatever. It was the headline. So yeah, I would say everybody probably has one of those.
Oh, and I also got a movie poster, but that's put away. But I got the same thing with the scissors. I got the movie poster, and I got him to write "Sorry Jack's Chucky's back" on the poster.
That's pretty dope.
And on my pop, on the pop itself, I actually got him to write "Presto, you dead," because that was always one of my favorite Chucky lines from Child's Play 3. With the barber,
barber.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious because he always said "presto" when he was done shaving all of the kids' head.
What I actually hope is that I do get a chance, because if he does do another convention, before we move on to our next segment, if he does do another convention, I definitely want to go and meet him, because I got something signed from him, but meeting the person is a different experience, because it becomes that thing that's a piece of a conversation where you're like, oh, well, I had a conversation with him. Like, one of my last celebrities that I remember meeting in 2020 before the pandemic was Jim Carrey.
That's right.
The fact that I get a chance to meet him for Sonic and had at least a conversation with him where he literally, because he's a fucking awesome guy. If you ever meet Jim Carrey, if somebody say he's mean, you must just caught him on a bad day, because we all have one. But he was awesome, because he came over to me and was just like, grabbed my hand and looked me in the eyes. How you doing, man? What's your name? What are you doing? You're here for me today? Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing that. Is there anything I can answer or anything I can sign for you? Like, sign for me, took a picture with me. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, I know a lot of like celebrities from like the 90s are interested in doing, remakes or sequels to some of their old stuff. I said, would you ever do a sequel to The Mask? Because that was a comic book. So there's tons of fucking material that you can do with. And he's like, oh, that one? Probably not, based on, the director of that one. He's like, do yourself a favor. Go ahead and Google that one. I assure you, it's not going to be a pretty, like, and I like looked it up. I'm like, oh, director was a part of the whole Me Too thing where this guy, was like, had potentially been accused of, has actually been accused of touching somebody. I don't know what he actually did, but I was just like, oh, so like, I'm pretty sure Jim Carrey's basically saying, I'm distancing myself away from a guy who would have anything to do with something like that. So
he was like, so Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't want to fuck with that. Yeah, he was nice enough that he didn't stand there and try to explain it. He just was like, go ahead and Google that just for your own sake. But for me, nah, I'm not interested in going anywhere near The Mask, and for that reason. And I'm like, but shout out to Cameron Diaz as well. That was her first movie, so yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Red Deer will do more signings. I also think, just thought about the fact, like, wow, we met Tobin Bell, like, Red Deer was starting to meet all the fucking, Like, because I was thinking, like, they're always at the cons. I thought the next time I go, I think I am gonna get Kane Hodder, the Jason guys. Like, I think I am gonna get him and the Michael Myers guys autograph and stuff because
I've met them. I've met the one Michael Myers, one Jason, and I met the Pinhead. I haven't got anything autographed by them, but I've met them enough to be like, "Hey, man, I love your stuff." Like, because
I mean, like we grew up watching all of this stuff, so it totally makes sense.
It's nice to like finally. It's kind of like how, segue into wrestling. It's kind of how now we're all older, and yes, as a wrestling fan, none of us wants to say like, "Oh, this is fake," because for us, the stakes are real. Like that's what we believe in. We believe in the stakes. We believe in championship matters. We believe in wins and losses and stuff like that.
We've also learned that wrestling is fake is not exactly like it's a long definition. Like define fake because they are going and they're going to the gym and they're doing this and they're in the ring throwing each other around and they're doing this stuff and there's a lot of work that goes into being a professional wrestler. So I feel like if I was a wrestler, I'd be like, define fake, because there's a lot of shit that, like, okay, if you mean like, did the Undertaker really bury this guy alive and choke him? No, it's fake. But like, did he really hit him in the face with that 2x4? Yeah, he's gonna need 6 stitches. That really happened.
It really took it, and what it is we're learning now as we got older. Speaking of nostalgia. It's what I like to describe as scripted entertainment. That's what it is. Yeah. It's scripted entertainment. Like there's a script that they follow in terms of there's a predetermined outcome, but the realness of it is these guys are real athletes. They really take hits. They're really
taking these bumps.
In the business, we call it a bump.
I mean, I think the movie, if you've never seen The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, that's a great like example of like. Is wrestling? Is it real? Is it fake? Yeah, it's pretty real. Just watch that movie. It'll give you
because it comes down to a point where people are literally, losing their lives and breaking limbs and all that kind of stuff. I'm reaching out to move the fan over there, but
already. He's getting tired already.
Oh no, it's just.
But yeah.
But yeah, so we're going right into wrestling and talking about real versus fake and like true nostalgia. Something amazing happened that I just want to say that if these two things happen, and I want to include this into the movie segment when we get to that point, but I think you probably forgot about it because it happened. So much stuff happened this week, but we got a Spider-Man trailer.
Oh no, actually no, I didn't forget that.
Now here's what I wanted. This is my prayer. Old pop culture guys. So far, you've given us in the year 2020 the return of CM Punk to wrestling.
I should have worn a shirt.
Oh, speaking of his shirt, I was able to finally order that goddamn thing because, like, it literally.
Yeah, that shit broke.
Shut down the fucking AEW shop website for like almost 2 days. So I was finally able to get one of those. I did get 2, so the funny thing is, I pray to the pop culture guys that if they're listening, the next thing that I want, which we'll talk about a little bit later, which is we got a teaser trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, which is teasing the hell out of us potentially seeing the other Spider-Mans, Andrew Garfield and the holy grail of movie Spider-Man's Tobey Maguire.
Don't forget about it. Don't forget about the Sinister Six.
Potentially the Sinister Six. But I'm telling you right now, we have both lived long enough to see CM Punk reappear on TV after 7 years, and I want to be able to sit there. And I already told my wife, anybody who goes with me, I tell you guys right here now, I will bawl my eye. I will be.
You're gonna be like, oh, this is amazing.
You know what? Do yourself a favor. When you're done with this, Ronnie, I'll give you a little something. Go watch any part of Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. That's all. I
said that after that trailer where they showed us like that when they showed us the the Green Goblin ball, and we literally seen fucking the actor for Doc Ock. I was like, I'm telling you, when I thought about the fact that, all right, the Sinister Six, they're bringing the Sinister Six, it's like, okay, this is telling me that this young kid, Peter Parker, if that's what they're giving us, he's going to need help. He's not going to be able to take down all these villains by himself. So I saw that trailer and I said to myself, are you telling me like the trailer mentions multiverses and stuff, and we've seen Loki and we've seen where all this might lead up to? I'm like, so you telling me that we might see Tom Holland have to go into the multiverse and look for these other Spider guys to get help, or maybe even somebody even tells him that, like, maybe you should visit Earth such and such and get help, and he drafts Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and if we get, I'm gonna tell you, if we get a scene, and I'm gonna say, especially in the third act of the movie, we get a scene in the third act of the movie that's similar to the first Avengers where they're fighting and they're doing shit, where it's all three Spider-Men and they're fighting the Sinister Six. I might. I'm just like, I'll be in the theater. I'll be in the theater, and I think I might be like bleeding from the eyes and from the nose, and people might be like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, "It's not COVID. It's not COVID. I think I'm so excited that I think my blood is just boiling and falling out of my body."
No, I'm telling you, don't do it, Marvel. We are not ready.
You're not. Because I'm like watching this trailer, like, yo, not only does this trailer look dope as shit, but they hiding so much stuff. Like, I feel like we saw this trailer and we ain't see shit.
Wait, before we jump into the trailer, which we'll jump into right after, we gotta go back to wrestling for a second. So SummerSlam happened, if anybody cares.
Yeah, no one. Okay, so back to CM Punk.
No, real quick, just to highlight, if highlight SummerSlam.
There were highlights.
Let's start. Wait, we gotta start the week off right. So on the second episode of AEW Rampage, which came on right after a shitty SmackDown, in which Roman Reigns and Cena,
he was gonna quit if he didn't beat Cena or something.
Which we all know he's not, because he's probably on like a 10-year deal.
Not only that, but he's like the hottest guy they got right now, so there's no way in hell he's gonna lose their cash.
The three biggest highlights for SummerSlam for you, and go.
Let's see. Three. I honestly didn't have three. I had one. The only pop of SummerSlam that actually got me excited was Brock Lesnar returning. That's it. Brock Lesnar came looking like he broke free from the cave that Iron Man got trapped in, and Iron Man won with the long ponytail and the beard longer than it usually is.
Say it correctly. It is a man bun. That dude
came out there with the man bun and the beard, looking jacked up like he ain't never stopped working out since he left. So I was like that.
Candidate.
And he came out, and I felt, and that look that Roman had, I ain't even supposed to really be here. Here, sir, here's your title. Like that. That was like the only pop for me, but otherwise, I really didn't enjoy SummerSlam. I'm still soaking over the fact that they took a potential like Bianca Belair, and she got literally Kofi Kingston squashed by the man Becky Lynch, which I'm a huge fan of Becky Lynch, but I'm like, I think that maybe they could have at least had a long drawn out match. Like she just beat her. She just and two, it didn't make sense also at the fact that, okay, here's where storytelling gets a little sloppy. So you already had Sasha Banks, come back and pretend like she was Bianca's friend. Bianca let her guard down, and she sucker punched her and attacked her. So basically, you're trying to tell me like Bianca Belair was such a sucker that she fell for that twice with Becky Lynch too? Like, come on, man! Like,
We don't know the circumstances in which why Sasha wasn't able to make it to SummerSlam,
or if that was the plan all along. I mean, that probably was.
I don't think it was a plan all along because, like, I know they were trying to do something, but then they brought out Carmella, and then Carmella basically got squashed in the situation, and then Carmella's used to that, so like we don't give no credit for her or anything like that.
Still a good talent that they also don't use properly, but that's another story.
Just so you're probably already aware of this, but Carmella is basically the SmackDown version of Eva Marie.
I would not put them in the same category. Eva Marie is just I don't even know what to say that is, but at least Carmella has been champ and had stuff happen. I don't know what the hell that is. And nothing against these women. I'm a fan of all of these people. It's just the storylines at this point they're trash. I don't know what else to call them. They're trash.
So SummerSlam happened on Saturday. What happened day before on AEW Rampage, right? When it came on, we heard the music. Everybody was chanting for it. And CM Punk reemerged.
CM Punk. And he took, it was in Chicago, too. In Chicago. He came out, he sat down, he did all this stuff. Like, he embraced fans. Like, you could see the look in his eye that he was happy.
He cried.
Yeah, like, he was happy to be back. And then after that long, semi-long, intro to the ring, what did he do? Oh my God! What did he do after 7 years? He gave us another pipe bomb, but a shorter one. But he gave us another pipe bomb. He threw a few daggers, and But I think my favorite out of all the stuff that he said about being back, I think my favorite thing that he said was, "Now I've got the time, and I ain't going nowhere." Which because when he first started the speech, I know that there were rumors like, is he returning to wrestling? Is he going to be a commentator? So I didn't know, even when he was making that speech, I didn't know if his comeback was going to be, joining JR and comment or wrestling. But when he said that, I got the time and I ain't going nowhere. He talked about, being there this day, that day, and then Darby Allin. I was like, no, this guy is talking about coming back to wrestle. And I'm like,
yes. Not only came back to wrestle, he immediately, as you just said, challenged one of their hottest young stars. Let's just call it what it is. At this point in time, WWE is not in the business of creating stars. What they are doing is they are consolidating their stars so that they can try to run a two ships. If you want to include NXT in there, they're running that. And what they're doing is they're trying to run it now with the bare minimum of people, right? The bare minimum. They are. I'm not even kidding. This is what happened on Monday Night Raw. I know we jumping around in wrestling, but this is a wrestling segment, so stick with it. On Monday Night Raw, God damn it, Drew McIntyre is having an issue with Jinder Mahal, and Sheamus is. It's like Sheamus is a part of it, and then Damian Priest is a part of it, and then Bobby Lashley is a part of it, and it's like this jumbled mess of shit that's going on. And then after all of that jumbled mess, seconds later, they're all back and it's a tag team match. So you literally use 4 guys and you use them for an hour. Just an hour of these fucking guys. And I'm just I don't, what am I watching? Within an hour time, you could have told so many different stories if you had the fucking roster. If you had the roster of showcasing, I'll put it to you this way, and I know it's not exactly the same, but it's again, going back to the entertainment factor. When you go, if you've been to the circus, right?
Yep. With you.
We've been to the circus together, growing up. Have you ever been to the circus where you've been to the circus and they're literally focusing on the fucking elephants for an hour? That don't make sense. It's it's clowns, it's elephants, it's tigers, it's racing, it's this, it's that. intermission, and then there's some more stuff and more stuff, and then you.
But everything, what the circus does get right though is that they have a perfect balance of everything. Everything gets enough time, and everyone gets enough shine. See where I'm going there? They don't. Yeah. They don't just focus on the elephants and cut out the tigers. Nah, yeah, all right, tigers. Well, it's just all about the elephant. No, everybody gets the equal share, and they. Even, oh my God, it's funny that you use the analogy of the circus because even when you break it down, I know like circus has changed because they don't use half the animals anymore because of animal rights and stuff, but the ones that they do, even if it's a fucking dog and they bring it to circus, the trainers do tricks with each dog, and every fucking dog gets a moment in the spotlight. No dog gets squashed by another dog. if you
tell me this bulldog doesn't come out and grab a fucking chihuahua, like,
yeah, if you get my drift with this bullshit that they're doing with Charlotte Flair, and love Charlotte Flair, she's a future WWE Hall of Famer. But you mentioned Raw, and it just pissed me off the fact that Charlotte Flair is champ again. We don't need Charlotte Flair champ again. Like Charlotte Flair, to me. I think the best thing you can do at this point right now with people like Charlotte, Sasha, and a couple other people is do the same thing that they're doing on well, I won't say do the same thing. AEW, Vicky Guerrero. Vicky Guerrero was never a wrestler, but Vicky Guerrero is managing like Nyla Rose.
Yep.
That looks good on her. Why don't they do that for a while? Instead of having Charlotte Flair in the spotlight and being the champ every week and being in every pay-per-view and every main event, why not like make a storyline where she like she betrayed this person and she aligned herself with Rhea Ripley and she's Rhea Ripley's mentor and she does the same shit they're doing on AEW with what's his name with what do you call it? What's the tag team? No. What was the tag team that left WWE and now they're with
FTR?
FTR. Like you see, they got the Four Horsemen dude who's mentoring everybody.
Tully Blanchard.
Tully Blanchard. I'm terrible with names. Tully Blanchard. Look what he's doing. Like the guy, he's out there every week. He's doing stuff with them, but he's building these people up. I'm a legend already. Let me help these guys become legends too. Charlotte Flair at this point is already a fucking legend. She was a legend when she fucking first started because she's Ric Flair's daughter.
She's proven herself, yeah.
I mean, she's proven herself time and time again, and she's great. But I feel like and I have no gripe with Charlotte Flair. It's just the storylines is like, when do you tell a story that involves the other women on the roster besides just like the 5 that you got? Because I swear, if I see another Royal Rumble with like 20 some odd women that run out there that we never fucking see every week, I'm gonna rip my own hair out. It's like, every January every January comes and they're like 5, 4, 8, and all these women come out, and I guarantee you that half the audience is like, who is that? Oh, that's Brandi Lee.
Well, I tell you, like more than half of them are like NXT women that they haven't called up to the main
roster. NXT women they haven't called up to the main roster to squash yet? Oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah. They're like, stay over there, we'll squash you.
Stay over there, we'll squash you in enough time. I mean, we haven't finished squashing Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley yet. You realize, and I know I realize because I'm a big loyal NXT fan who, watching it for a long ass time, that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair should have stayed on NXT, in my opinion. Looking at what the path that they've been led, and even though they both have become champions, it's like, was it worth? Like, okay, for them, probably that just to have that moment and stuff was great. But from a storyline point of view, was it worth bringing them both to the main roster just so they can get squashed and not be champions currently? Because Rhea Ripley's title reign was about a month. Nikki Cross's title run was about a month.
Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley won theirs at Mania, so theirs has been at least like 3 months. But the problem with their reigns is that I'm not going to include Nikki Ash in there or Cross. I'm gonna call it Cross because that Ash shit is stupid. But I'm gonna just call it Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross's title reign was a joke, and I don't even call that a reign. You gotta.
It wasn't a joke, but it wasn't even a joke because of her. It was a joke because of the fucking story. I love Nikki Cross. It was a joke because of the fucking storyline. Like they squashed.
By the way, neither one of them are interested in the title right now. They're now Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross as a tag team.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I figured I'd tell you that just because, like, yeah, they're tag team.
Just like, I don't know. Yeah, let's make them a tag team and then let's release a real tag team like the Iconics. Okay, yeah, okay. I mean,
or the Riot Squad.
Yeah, you guys make total sense.
You totally also noticed that Liv Morgan has disappeared. So, no wonder if she wanted the fucking chopping block.
Honestly, I hope that happens so that we can see the three of them in Impact. Hell, New Japan, wherever. Even if it's not in AEW, I would just like to see them, see them shine and get their moment. Like the Riot Squad never got a moment. You realize that, right? Like I feel like.
Well, I'll say the closest they came to a moment, which could have been an actual moment, but WWE knew that they were going to be cutting these guys in a little bit. Was WrestleMania 2021. When they had that gauntlet tag team match. The fans, you can go back and watch it if you don't believe me. It's on Peacock. You can go back and watch that the Riot Squad won the first round, and then they won the second round. And the crowd is fucking, when they fight the third throat, the crowd is fucking behind them after they win the second time because they're like, yo, Riot Squad about to get that push. Yeah, that push is about to come because they lost.
I know. It's funny. I wish I could replicate what you just did because that sums up Raw and SmackDown every week right now.
Like, that's what he's like. No,
that's what it feels like. That's it. Yo, they got Cena coming. Cena about to fight Roman. Cena about to get that 16. All right, what y'all? And then you go to, you know what? And then it's almost like going out on a bad date with somebody. Like, I go to work the next day, and somebody like, hey, Ron, you saw wrestling yesterday? And I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about that.
Here's another one I'm saying. And I don't want to make it just to let's beat the shit out of WWE because
it's not bashing. It's more like just frustration out of mistakes and stuff that we keep getting the same
after week.
You know what's funny? Roman Reigns literally said that in the dialogue about Cena. It's the same thing. But that's how I feel like Raw and SmackDown. It's the same thing. We keep getting the same thing every week. It's like missionary position over and over. We're getting the same thing every week.
Promos that they cut during this time represent WWE as a company, and it's fucking hilarious that they don't see it. John Cena literally stood there in the ring as a fucking hypocrite and talked about how the system has supported him. Hey, yo, John, you are the last product of the WWE system. You're the last product. You went from ruthless aggression and fucking booty shorts and a buzz cut to Word Life pretending to be a black dude, and then whoa.
I don't say that. I say, yeah. I feel like he's the last guy that they pushed that became like larger than life. Yes, I will. They haven't,
because they're not in the business of creating new stars.
See, that's what. But I feel like they're going to be forced to do that because they don't have anybody. Undertaker.
That's what
they don't think about it. They don't have anybody anymore. Think about it. Like Undertaker's retired. Kane is practically retired. Mick Foley's
gone.
Mick Foley, Triple H. Triple H is a fucking boss now. He's just, he's just the guy bringing in talent and trying to keep everything together. Like, even Stephanie.
Keep in mind, too, they've lost some of their backstage, too. Like, Billy Gunn. A lot of the DX members were behind-the-scenes people that worked with Triple H. Even those guys have jumped ship and it's like, I'm going to go over here and coach at some other place because, like, the shit you got me doing is just, like, you want me to be a producer?
Ric Flair jumped ship, and he ain't even wrestling no more. That tells you all you need to know. Ric Flair, I'm gonna need. He went I'm gonna need out of my contract. Yeah. Take whatever fee. Yeah, just give me my shares.
Like the fact that you thought it was gonna be some type of cool, some writer somewhere in the world, somewhere in the United States, actually took their keyboard and wrote a storyline with fucking Lacey Evans having a baby by Ric Flair.
But
that's what you wrote.
I mean, that's definitely squashed. Like whenever she comes back, which probably won't be till like 2023, being that she's about to have a kid.
This moment where I get the pitch and I'm like, all right, so let me read the storylines we got going on here. Let me see here. Just like, all right, so Ric Flair gonna have a baby by Lacey Evans. So let me get this straight. In 2021, where we actually follow her ass on social media, know she got a kid and get the shit. That's what somebody has to fucking thing is to do. Storylines go, all right.
And you also got to say to yourself, when they create these storylines where like this guy's getting revenge, on this chick. So is this chick going out there fighting this dude? Because if that's not where this is going, what's the point?
Wait. All right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and you know what? All right, cool. The next, this is something I really want to do now. Like you get the pitch that come in, it's just like, all right, so tell me the pitch for Bobby Lashley. Wait, you realize that Brock Lesnar fucking came back at SummerSlam and we did not get a Lashley and Brock fight. Why? You wasted money with this guy showing up. You could have fought Bobby Lashley. That's what everybody asked you for like 3 months ago. Instead, you see the story like, all right, let me read the next story. And
yeah, you know what's funny? Yeah, that's the one moment where they could have squashed somebody and it would have worked. Because, right, they're building Bobby Lashley to be this unstoppable force. Who can beat Bobby Lashley? Not even Goldberg. So if Brock Lesnar would have came back, they could have had the classic moment where Bobby Lashley beat up Goldberg like he did, beat up his son. Okay, Bobby Lashley's making his way out of the arena with MVP. Vince McMahon's music hits. Vince McMahon comes out. These people came for a show, Bobby, and you're the almighty, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get back in that ring because you're not done for the night. You're going to defend that WWE title, and you're going to defend it against him. You go silent? Yeah. Oh, Brock and Lashley right now. And see, look, we're writing this shit ourselves. Like, dude, there's your pop right there. And if you wanted to squash Bobby Lashley in that moment, that would have actually worked because and it's believable because you're doing it with a guy that's the fucking same size as Bobby Lashley.
Grown ass. And he's tired because he just had a match, so it's not. Yeah,
so it fucking makes sense.
Now here's a fun thing there. Now I'm gonna add on to the little skit here. Now you were just in the room. And you pitched that whole idea, and everybody's like, Hey, then I'm the boss. Hey, Ronnie, can I hold you for a second? You're fired. Get the fuck out.
You're like, hey, Ron, hey, I'm gonna go grab some lunch. You wanna come with me? Oh, sure, yeah, I'll come with you. Come to the lunchroom, and the HR like, hey, why's the HR guy here? Yeah, this is gonna be your last day. We're gonna need you to sign these papers. They're like, what? Last day? What do you mean?
We already cleaned out your office.
Like, yeah, you pitched some pretty good ideas to Vince, and we can't do that right now. So
we're not down with that. We're not going.
Yeah, we're not down with that.
So the story. Wait, did you? I just want to ask you before I say this. Did you see how Goldberg lost?
Didn't he like? No, I didn't see exactly. Oh, when I turned it on, I saw like him getting beat up with a chair.
Okay. I just want you to pull in close. So I'm gonna read it. Just because I got handed this from the writer, said, all right, so we're gonna have the storyline where Bobby Lashley, feuds with Goldberg, which nobody wants to see, and it's such a bad storyline. The audience is going to be booing it. They're gonna chant Bray Wyatt. Real thing. Go back and check it. It's so bad that fucking WWE went back in and tried to lower the volume and replace it with cheers. Just so you know, they're fucking around with the audio to try to stop the audience from booing the bullshit that's going on. So the match ensues, and literally Goldberg falls down and he's blown out his knee. And the refs are over there. Bobby Lashley's trying to get him up. And the refs are over there like, Bobby, get out of here. And he literally backs off of him. And he's trying to do it. And he tries to get back up and he falls back down. And the ref just rings the bell because Goldberg is unable to finish. This is the shit that. Okay, so that's the story, and then because Bobby Lashley isn't finished and doesn't feel like that match should have ended the way it was. That's when you came in and you saw the chair being like hit on him.
That's why I barely.
And then he went out of the ring and grabbed his child and.
I barely watched it because I can't. That's why I barely watched it. But also, I didn't want to lose that high of what happened Friday when CM Punk came back and talked about real wrestling. And he talked about real wrestling. And through the biggest dagger, probably, he could have been talking about other organizations too. But when he talked about, there's no way that I could have gotten healthy going back to the place that made me sick in the first place. Oh, my God.
Somebody give me some allergen. Did anybody see that Mack truck that came passing?
And then don't forget about the clothes. Like, if anybody listened to the infamous pipe bomb for CM Punk, you can easily find that shit on YouTube anywhere. Where it was synonymous forever that he kept talking about, way back when he was WWE champion, when he had the feud with John Cena, he talked about, I'm not on the program, I'm not on the tour bus, I don't even have my own ice cream bar. And then, full circle moment at the end of the closing of his speech when he told everybody on your way out, grab a free ice cream bar on me. And for me, I took it another level. When I Googled, because I was like, oh shit, I wonder if I could get that delivered. You can actually get ice cream delivered from other places, even other states. I was like, I wonder if I could get that. When I Googled the ice cream bar, the fucking CM Punk was on the fucking wrapper. I was thinking in my head, that's what he wanted when he was in. Oh my God, this is so fucking.
They didn't really believe in him. Let me also throw in something else before we move on from wrestling, just to add to that. WWE tried to do on Thursday night. Let's not forget about this, because Roman Reigns they inserted their foot into their own mouth and fucked themselves over. Somehow, some little interview with some small show, not bigger than ours, that had Roman Reigns on it, and they literally had Roman. They asked him the question. Now, I don't know if this was a softball, set it up and he knock it out the park type of question, or this is a pre-planned smear campaign by WWE, because they asked him about the potential of CM Punk coming back and what did you what was your thoughts on him or whatever. And to completely paraphrase, basically Roman Reigns said, well, I don't think that guy was as big as he thought he was, because he didn't make the impact that say The Rock or John Cena or anybody of those big guys made on each Stone Cold or any of those guys made on the wrestling industry as a whole. And to me, it's kind of a stupid statement, because a lot of wrestlers attacked him online. They're like, that's a stupid statement, bro. One, you're not the one to be sitting here talking about somebody not being over, because it's been 10 years and the machine is still trying to get you over. Yeah. Let's make it very clear.
Also, let me also say that people have been chanting CM Punk for 7 years.
7 years, bro. Still not chanting your name.
CM Punk. People in New Japan watching a show that ain't got shit to do with CM Punk, CM Punk.
Because he kept it so real, and literally the pipe bomb is still legendary, because a lot of what he talked about during that pipe bomb has actually come to fruition in WWE. That's what WWE does not understand about the importance in wrestling industry history of this guy returning and him having that moment. It was such a real moment where a guy sat there on camera and literally predicted the future of why we've spent this last few minutes talking about the shitty storylines, the lack of title belts mattering, the lack of fucking people getting proper pushes, the lack of creation of superstars, and just the lack of sensibility or stakes in the very thing that we've loved for a good 80-90% of our fucking lives. They've taken all of those things that make wrestling entertaining and have given us this product where somehow we're supposed to believe that Alexa Bliss is now this fake ass Beetlejuice character.
Wait. Beetlejuice character.
No.
Beetlejuice character where nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens, yo. They every week, and I love Alexa Bliss. First and foremost, love Alexa Bliss.
She's cool.
Dope ass superstar. But the storyline is so annoying at the fact every week, like she's feuding with someone else, and they build it up and don't shit happen. We get to the pay per view.
She fought Eva Marie in a squash match on
yeah, she fought Eva Marie. Anything happen? Anything out of the spectacular? Anything happen? No.
Wait. No. You're missing out on it because what you do get to see is you get to see two things that Alexa Bliss does now that she added to her arsenal. She's figured out a way to crawl across the ring. Creepy.
Okay.
And then the other thing is she does a roar thing where it's like, oh, now, just like, because that is something in wrestling, and I understand that, where she like yells, and now all of a sudden all your hits they don't hurt anymore.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so no. Okay, so
now she's interested in fighting Charlotte Flair for the belt, and I'm like, oh, okay. So what you're telling me is that Charlotte Flair is not making the ticket sales and merchandise sales that you want. So because Lily, the little plush toy, was a sold out thing that like really sold out when it first came out and just came back in stock like last week, you're thinking, if I take this little title and put it onto this girl, then maybe we can make the title oh wait, that's right.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that I was expecting the first time that they brought the Lily thing into fruition, I thought that maybe out of nowhere, like somebody was gonna show up in a fucking giant Lily suit and beat the shit out of somebody. Like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, that's why I thought they were going with that, but that shit ain't going nowhere either. It's like, wait, let's go back just to, what was the pay-per-view where Bray Wyatt lost to Randy Orton? When she came out of like a cake or some shit covered in tar.
Yes.
Yeah, what was that? What was that about? Like I said, I patiently await I patiently await Alexa Bliss to go back to what made me a giant fan of her, which was the Miz version of her, the prick who just used to talk shit about people, and sort of like the Regina George Harley Quinn version of her, because that was dope. What they're doing right now is just, I guess.
We've said it time and time again, and all I can really say before we move on is really, all I can say is they need to make things matter again. That's all. Like, just matter. Like, I'll steal from Michael Che if you ever seen his
oh yeah, just matter.
Like nothing. Just make it matter. Like, please, for the love of God, stop. Like, I love the fact that, like, segueing over into Marvel Land in terms of the magical things that we've done. And if you've heard this show, you've heard us blow them many times.
Plug in my charger if you're wondering what I'm doing.
No, you're good. You've heard us blow Marvel many times in Disney because they just continue to do the Lord's work, because they're giving us live action things that we can look forward to. Shang-Chi comes out in about a couple of days from when you see this podcast.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and speaking of one thing that I almost forgot, that I literally just picked up today, and like, holy shit, they had this, didn't know it came out. The fucking Spider-Man Far From Home pops.
Oh yeah, they're at GameStop. I mean, not GameStop. Hot Topic.
I found these.
You get the black and gold suit?
Yeah, I got that one too. But this one, I think what fascinates me is that he's wearing a lot of Doctor Strange's like medallions and stuff. So I'm wondering what that's going to be about in the movie. But yeah, I got that one. I got the black suit one. That also, if you look very closely at it, it looks like it has like stuff from like Ant-Man, like Hank Pym or something on it. I guess maybe so he can time travel or whatever. I don't know.
I know what you mean. What does it have on it from Hank Pym?
Like, you remember, like, like Ant-Man's suit has like what the fuck? Like, remember, like when they time traveled, it had like the things on the helmet and stuff like that. I'm wondering if maybe this suit might allow Peter to go, like, because I feel like this suit, all these different suits that they have probably do something. I wonder if maybe one of these suits allows him to travel through the multiverse. universe.
The one thing I would like them to get
really just speculation. I don't know. And then of course is this last one with Doctor Strange.
If you notice, Doctor Strange is the shovel. That's him in the beginning where they're shoveling the snow.
Oh, is that what that's for? I was wondering because I'm like, I know that's that shovel, but it has to be something more if they made one of him holding the shovel. I feel like it has to be some significance of why he was doing.
We'll find out. You brought it. That was a great segue right into. We talked a little bit earlier about the trailer and what we saw in there, and some of our speculation of it. The one thing that I will say, with my little Spider-Man here, the one thing I will say that I'm looking at in this situation is, I personally want Spider-Man to get back to this. You see this?
I don't know. I kind of like that they're trying to refresh it and not just have that, and they kind of put them in different suits and doing all that. But I think ultimately they'll get back to that too. But I like all the different suits.
Personally, for me, I am with you. I am a huge Spider-Man fan. He is my favorite superhero of all time. I really like Spider-Man. And the one thing that I noticed is that these movies tend to be a giant commercial for just toys of different suits, like you just showed us, which was those different outfits and stuff like that. And I appreciate that. But at the same time, it's like, all right, when are we going to get past that point and get back to that's why personally for me, I am more of after watching both of them, I am more of a fan of Far From Home than I am of Homecoming. I understand the premise of Homecoming because it's it's the first one. It's like a John Hughes movie, this and the other. But what I like about Far From Home that is nice is that Far From Home feels less like a not an origin, but it feels like some big bad adventure that Spider-Man is handling alone, on his own. No Avenger, no Tony Stark, no Thor, no Hulk, no nobody. Just him and his friends working together to try to defeat one of his villains, which is what most of Spider-Man's comic books have been for issues. So again, I don't have a problem with them including him in the MCU. I crave it. I'm here for it all. But I'm just hoping that this whole first trilogy with him, because we know we're going to get more movies of Spider-Man, whether it be Tom Holland or whoever. I think
maybe after we get past this multiverse stuff, we'll probably get more what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just looking for, again, they're going to. Now, here's the thing too. I don't know if anybody's been under a rock, but I also have to. I love the fact, thinking about we were just talking about wrestling and going on into Marvel. What I love the fact is that it seems like Marvel and Disney are a perfect example of showing you why you don't say fuck the people who've been there before you were where you are right now. Yeah. It seems like right now, I'm calling the kettle black. WWE to me, as a longtime fan, I don't know about you, but I feel like they don't give a shit about me. Me, the guy who's been watching them for 30 some odd years. They don't really give a shit about me enjoying it for the things that I enjoyed it for all these decades. But more so, whatever the product it is, it's it is what it is, accept it. Yeah. I don't feel like Marvel and Disney are doing that. Going into what we're going to jump back and forth between if you guys are just tuning in or you're just checking this out as a segment. We're talking about this is the comics and Marvel and TV section of our show. And we're going to be talking about the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, but we're also going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of What If. What If? Now, I'm going to give you an example in one of the episodes. Now, you mentioned to me offline, but we're going to bring it into the show, that you didn't really enjoy as much the villain reveal in episode 3 of What If, which
what if was what if the Marvel what if the Marvel heroes fell, what if they weren't,
what if the world lost the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. We didn't get the Earth's Mightiest Heroes because they were murdered.
A serial killer was picking them off before they could even shine, basically, but they could get their moment to shine.
So the interesting thing to me is I will say, just using that episode, and we'll go into the other ones and how dope they are. But Just going to 3. Spoilers. The killer for everybody is. Would you like to tell him, Ronnie?
Hank. It was Hank Pym, right?
Correct. But my
Hank
question though is,
Ant-Man.
who is he?
Ant-Man.
He's not Ant-Man.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean in that? Oh no, wait. In this, he was what was it? Yellow Jacket, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, he's Yellow Jacket.
Now, going back to what I was saying before about how Marvel doesn't just say, "This go away, you old folk who read the books and made it possible for us to exist." They gave you something which was not only could you look at the movies and see that, like, Shield and Hank Pym had butted heads. Like, they literally butt heads to a point which makes him disbanded from Shield, because him and Janet Van Dyne were actually with Shield, and because of the shit that Tony Stark, Howard Stark was doing, and they were doing with the earlier version of Shield, SSR, he disbanded for them and got upset and left them. So to me, it kind of makes sense from that standpoint. But also, another thing that they did that as well, which was them going, let me push my nerd glasses. What happened to him in this is actually canon. Like, it's comic book. It's literally, I don't know if you know, but Hank Pym in the comic does become Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket. Like that part I knew, and like I was saying before, it's like only because I was looking at it a little different. I knew they were gonna connect some parts to the comic. But I'm like, for me, that was like, the episode was cool. I didn't have a problem with the episode. It's just like the reveal to me was like, it's just, maybe it was meta because like I was like, well, it seemed like the same ending of Big Hero 6 because, you know, the reveal in Big Hero 6, we find out it's the fucking dude and he was mad because, you know, the experiment went wrong with his daughter and the thing. So it was very similar to that. I was like, it's just a coincidence. It's the same company that made it.
That makes sense.
I was like, but I thought it was, out of the 3 episodes so far, for me, I thought it was the weaker one. I still like the first 2 better, especially the first one. Like me, the first episode was my favorite so far because I was like, I would love to even see that shit live action. Like, I really loved, like, seeing Peggy Carter become, you know, Captain, like, I was like, Captain Carter or whatever. I was like, I can see this shit being live action. Like, that shit was dope as hell. And, like, having Steve
Carter I'm all for Captain Britain, Peggy Carter. She did a great job. She got, you know, nice and swole in a nice way. And, you know, she was wonderful. She was wonderful. And it's great to see that the romance between her and Steve Rogers still occurred. We still got the red.
Oh, yeah. My favorite line of that, too, when he was like, I can't dance. And then she was like, maybe you just haven't found the right part. I'm like, okay, Peggy, putting on
you putting the charm on.
Yeah, she's still letting you know. She was still letting you know, like, I'm still interested.
Which is so beautiful because, like, to start off with that particular story, if you want to look at it, it's kind of meta as well because they started What If off with their story, but their story is also the end of the MCU from the saga, the Infinity Saga. Yeah. The last scene of Infinity Saga is those 2 dancing.
The only different opinion we did have is you said you felt like this is all gonna connect. I thought, like, you might be right. I looked at it more like I was comparing this whole What If show to another old show called The Amazing Stories. There's a show that Steven Spielberg made where each episode is a different episode. Like they don't connect. It's just like a different story about different things. Sometimes they might have a similar theme. Sometimes they don't. But so I was looking at it more from that perspective. So I wasn't sure if it does connect. I'm like, oh, cool, but I didn't.
It's good that you said that because I can see how they might have to do a little bit of explaining on different things. Because if you remember how the first episode ended with Captain Carter coming through the portal like Loki did in Avengers 1. But when she came through the portal, there were 2 people there. There's Nick Fury and Hawkeye. But based on this 3rd episode, Hawkeye just died. So it's kind of like, well, how is Hawkeye going to be in this one here? I believe that they're going to give an explanation of we don't know when that particular time frame happened. Like all we know is that at the point in time of episode 3, we do not know if Nick Fury is in possession of the Tesseract. We don't know if he's in possession of the Tesseract. We don't know what, like, that's the point in which, for me, when I'm watching this, I'm looking at it as like they're putting this together kind of like a Quentin Tarantino movie. You don't know when the movie.
Oh yeah, because he tends to do stuff a little bit out of order. Yeah.
If you watch Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you watch Pulp Fiction in the order that the movie goes, John Travolta's character dies in the movie. Vincent Vega, he dies because he gets gunned down by Bruce Willis' character when he comes out of the bathroom. But towards the end of the movie, he's in the diner with what's his name? In the diner scene. So that's where it's like it's out of it. Like even if you go back and watch that movie, I love that movie and I can fucking do a podcast just on that movie. But there's just so much that's in each scene. If you pay attention to different scenes, like I'll give you just one little nugget before we get back tomorrow. One little nugget that was there was if you go back to the famous scene, what's the most famous scene in Pulp Fiction?
Well, there's a couple. I would say the dancing scene.
There's one top one that gets quoted. The what say what?
Oh, you're talking about the one with Samuel Jackson? Yeah. Say what? I dare you, motherfucker.
If you pay attention to their dialogue, Vincent Vega tells him, John Travolta's character tells him about, I can't believe some motherfucker keyed my car. Go back and then go into the movie later on, and when Vincent Vega first met Bruce Willis, winds up killing him later in the movie, he's there, and he literally shows up, and before those two, like, really butt heads in the bar, Marcellus Wallace calls him over to the table, and and Bruce Willis leaves, like, he leaves to go outside, and he has his keys in his hand. They don't show you he keyed his car, but he fucking keyed his car because he had it. And I'm like, that's such like fucking like little tiny. Pay attention to. So that's how I feel when I'm watching What If. Is there's so many little nuggets of different things that's happening that you don't know what time frame.
And I think they did another great job having Jeffrey Wright as the narrator of the Watcher.
Absolutely.
I think that adds a layer to it too, because that makes it feel almost like Twilight Zone-y.
Yes.
Like like it gives it like that Twilight Zone type of.
The Watcher is always watching, because we know in another episode that's coming up soon, we're going to see Tony Stark never goes to the cave to create the Iron Man suit because Killmonger saves him.
Yeah.
You know, that's another one that happens.
That one should be interesting.
Pretty much the reason I also
I think the next one coming up though is Doctor Strange as Strange Supreme. I think that's next.
Which is fine. We're gonna get that. We're also gonna get more Spider-Man. I think what we're gonna wind up getting in this particular situation is that the thing that you saw happen at the end of so far out of these 3 episodes, my favorite of these, episode 2.
Oh, which is T'Challa, yeah.
T'Challa is Star-Lord.
Yeah,
so
that was a great
episode. To the end of that episode, fucking just spot on to the fact that it's also Chadwick Boseman's last reprisal of his.
How about when people Thanos kept Thanos first of all was a good guy, and then he kept having conversation with people and like that's genocide. You can't do that. That's genocide.
Yeah, that's the joke of it. Is like you're literally somehow T'Challa being such an awesome strategist somehow did the one thing that nobody else did with Thanos. Had a fucking conversation with this dude. They had a conversation with this dude because this dude was a smart guy. If you really think about it, and I'm pretty sure people know this already, but I'll say it to you. If you really think about it, Infinity War is about Thanos. Endgame is about the Avengers.
Yep.
Like, the star of Infinity War is Thanos. Think about every time Thanos.
Well, yeah, we know that already.
It's a continuation of the story. Like,
yeah, we know that already.
And then the movie begins with him. It ends with him sitting there smiling. Huh? I murdered half the population just like I thought. Like
just so I can sit on this farm.
Because there's so much goodness there from a point of the one thing I also want to point out, which this will never go away, which is the fact that T'Challa, which we joked about his name on the show many episodes back, Nebula gave this nigga a fucking nickname Cha-Cha.
Hell yeah, Cha-Cha.
And I was like, okay. So I'm gonna tell you one thing. The only way you get to call Star-Lord T'Challa Cha-Cha is if he hit that. I'm gonna just go like this.
So you trying to say Nebula smash Star-Lord
smash Nebula, and that's another reason why he's cool as shit, because at this point Nebula and Thanos have a better relationship in this as well. Like he's Thanos' dad. He's Dad Thanos, and she's the girl that's so embarrassed of her father. That's the relationship they have now. So he's the cool boy guy, because if you remember, this is, God damn it, Marvel, this is so good. If you remember in Infinity War, Thanos actually fucking approved Star-Lord. Like he approved him.
Oh yeah, during that 1 minute scene, he was like, the boyfriend.
The boyfriend. And he only approved him because he was actually willing to do, ready for this? He was actually willing to do what only moments later Thanos was actually going to fucking do to his daughter, which murder his fucking daughter.
Yeah.
He literally, like, once he learned what he had to do, it made him sad, and then he was like,
Yeah.
Right off the fucking, like, that's literally what.
Well, also remember too, like he needed Gamora, so when he realized that, hey, this guy might actually do it. Remember, he turned Star-Lord's bullets into bubbles.
Yes, that's why he was impressed with him, because he's like, you love her so much that you are willing to murder her to make sure that, like, I don't have my plans. And he literally, like, I like you. Like, like he actually approved this guy. The fucking, like, first time meeting the dad, he impresses the dad. And then it's funny because that same, to me, you want to know what's funny? Also looking at it in comparison of Peter Quill Star-Lord and fucking
T'Challa.
Peter Quill Star-Lord and wait, is it?
I was saying, you said Peter Quill Star-Lord, and I said T'Challa Star-Lord.
And T'Challa Star-Lord, it's looking at them in comparison, it's also funny because the actions that they make, like, they also somehow lead. I'm sorry whether anybody agrees with this or not, but they still fucking lead to something really bad happening.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Peter Quill got emotional and fucked up the plan of putting Thanos in a fucking sleep mode and basically doing whatever to get the glove off of him and fuck that whole plan up. And T'Challa going about doing things the way he did and becoming Star-Lord, and those guys fucking up literally still led to Ego getting Peter Quill. And I feel like Peter Quill, so you got to remember something. There's also a reason why this is going to be a big story altogether. It's 9 episodes. Is there's a couple different things you got to think about from this episode that you did not see. We did not see Gamora, but if you look at the poster on Disney Plus, they spoil it. Gamora becomes Thanos.
Oh yeah, Gamora, daughter. Like, but I thought that might be another episode.
That's going to be there. You also see how somehow Ultron and Vision still happens. Somehow, we don't know. I think that's going to happen. In my own prediction, I think that Star-Lord, Vision and Thanos still coming to be is going to happen because of the fact that Killmonger saves Tony Stark. Because if you think about it, the life lesson that led to Tony Stark's becoming a better human being is the time he spent in that cave and watching that guy risk his life in order for him to get away with the suit.
Pretty
so
much.
If he still remains being a jackass, then he might actually wind up still creating fucking Ultron and Vision might be corrupted by Ultron and wind up becoming this, dangerous sentient being that might fucking enslave, most of humanity. So it's like these little things that happen where, like, Tony Stark needs to get shrapnel shoved into his heart by a bomb in order for this guy to
can't believe that. I still can't believe it. I mean, I know it's all too because of the pandemic, but all the fucking Marvel stuff that we've gotten that we're still getting, I'm like, wait, so let me get this straight. Even when Shang-Chi comes out, which I'm already in my head like that shit gonna be way. I think it's gonna be 10 times doper than what we even fucking see in the trailer. But we get Shang-Chi, and we still gonna keep getting What If. Why Shang-Chi come out? Then we gonna get Eternals. Then we gonna close the year off. Then Disney gonna say, "Merry Christmas, y'all. We gonna close the year out."
You missing one? There's one more in there.
Okay. What? Is that this year too? Jesus Christ! All right, so we're gonna get Hawkeye. We're gonna get Hawkeye, and then we're gonna get fucking Eternals, and then we're gonna close the year off with fucking Spider-Man. And then I feel like, and then we don't even know what we getting in Spider-Man. Spider-Man's gonna close off the year. Okay, all right.
I'm gonna tell you two things. Here's two things for what I feel somebody at Marvel, whether it's Kevin Feige or somebody, or all of them together. There's two things that they want to do this year, and they can do it successfully with two movies: Shang-Chi and Spider-Man: No Way Home. I think personally, Marvel does not like, and I think I said this to you before, I don't think Marvel enjoys the fact that they don't have an Into the Spider-Verse. I don't think they like that shit. So they're gonna give you fucking No Way Home, which is a live-action version of Into the Spider-Verse, but they're going to try to do it even better, which is going to be a little bit hard, but like, hey, let's see what they got. And the second thing I think that they want to do, because it's still a notch on their belt, because their name is attached to it, is that the last time Marvel put their hands on Kung Fu, we got fucking Iron Fist. So Shang-Chi is they like you.
Oh well, yeah. Don't forget that too. That's what they want you to forget. They want you to forget that something like Shang-Chi could also open the door to them, like bringing Iron Fist and other shit that that in that realm to life as well.
There was rumors going back to the Marvel, the No Way Home trailer. There was rumors, if you go back to the trailer, there's a guy that like slams a stack of papers down in front of on the table right next to Peter Parker that has on a suit and tie, and if you look in the background, it looks like there's something in the corner, and people are speculating that that's a blind man's stick. Motherfucker, if I walk into that theater and I see Matt Murdock is this guy's lawyer, I'm done. That's it.
I'm pretty sure you will. There was way too many rumors for that not to be true.
What? You're gonna give me not only every Spider-Man that I've ever seen since I've been alive.
And then another one that we've been wanting forever that I still feel like we're gonna get at some point. Don't forget Mephisto, because they had the one scene where Peter's walking through the crowd of people, and someone has a sign that says "Devil in Disguise."
Devil in Disguise.
And I'm like, oh man, they are really driving these references. Like, I swear, Mephisto has to appear somewhere down the line. Maybe he's gonna be like a big bad, because somewhere down the line, because I swear, it's just too many coincidences that we have seen since like this whole new arc have started. Like the fucking shit in Loki with the devil on the glass, and then they had the fire around Sylvie and this, and it's been like too many, like going back to WandaVision with the swan and the red smoke. Like it's been way too many like fucking Easter eggs. So he's coming. I feel like maybe he's coming when you least expect it. That's probably what they're.
I agree with you. I think Mephisto for me. So a lot of people, it's good that you bring him up, because a lot of people have been speculating that based on this little bit of teaser trailer that we got, which is like 2 minutes, that this movie seems like it's based on the idea of a brand new day, which leads into like, a whole big new thing for Spider-Man, like a whole new, universe that like was built into the comics. If you don't know Brand New Day, basically it's right after the events of Civil War, in which Peter Parker literally reveals his identity, to the world as Peter Parker. The Kingpin immediately hires a sniper and snipes not Mary Jane. And literally, she's on her deathbed, and while Mary Jane is trying to console Peter Parker, Mephisto appears, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing, man? You know, I'd love to, help you out here. Your aunt here doesn't need to die. She's she's Marissa Tomei.
We see how that worked out for Ghost Rider. So, so go ahead. You
never works out. He actually does agree to it, and he basically the only weird thing that Mephisto wanted, because he's a demon and he doesn't need money or nothing like that. He wanted the love that both Mary Jane and MJ and Peter Parker have, which they believe it's like true love and this ultimate love and this undying love. And the only thing that he wants to make sure too is that the only person who remembers when this spell is casted, the only person who remembers is Mary Jane, because he's the devil. So all he really wants is to watch the torment of one person who knows all of this stuff, but will now watch the world completely change in front of them and have no choice but to sit there as
which is meta, because we saw that in the trailer where he was saying like Mary Jane won't know, like I don't mind if she keeps knowing, and what about Ned? What about Ned? And then I have the other speculation for the trailer, which is I'm thinking that the scene where Doctor Strange was like, stop interrupting the spell or whatever. Like, I mean, it's all speculation, but I was just saying that maybe that could be happening at the same moment from Loki when Sylvie kills Kang, or He Who Remains.
I believe it could be. I believe that somehow the spell is going to get messed up. And we got to address what is already out there on the internet.
That also, and let's say none of that is true, and Doctor Strange has fucked up the spell. That actually works too, because if you remember, he's still learning as he's going along. Like, he took over and he's Joe, but he is still learning. And what's the name? The other Wong is still kind of like teaching him stuff also. So it made a lot of sense in the trailer when he's like, "Don't do that spell, Strange," and he's like, "I'm gonna do
it." Literally does it with I's permission, and literally, it's funny too because you see Wong traveling, so it also makes you wonder. The movies come out after one another, but it also makes you wonder if Wong is on his way, because we know from the trailer Wong appears in Shang-Chi, so we wonder if he's actually on his way to fight in that tournament that he fights in against Obama.
Oh yeah, I think it would be on his way into another movie. It would be hilarious too if Wong's like, "Don't do that spell," and he leaves, and like if the after credit was even something as funny as Wong being like, "God damn it, he did that spell." Like, I told him not to do it.
Or it could be one of those fun things like he comes back and it's like they could, because I know a lot of the creator, I forget his name right now. It's like I want to say it's Mark Webb.
Oh, I was gonna say John Watts. You're talking about the director?
John Watts. Yes, I'm sorry, John Watts. John Watts. This guy loves to sort of. He must have a thing for like 80s movies, because a lot of his like the last two Spider-Mans have like a lot of references to. They're not direct references, but in terms of the structure and stuff like this. So this movie could also be one of those kind of "don't tell mom the babysitter's dead" type of thing, where it's like Wong goes away, and by the time Wong comes back, everything that we've watched in the movie has happened in Wong.
Oh yeah, it might be happening back to normal, but it would be hilarious if like they do get everything back to normal, except like one thing. So Wong comes back and like goes in his room, and let's say like fucking somebody from another multiverse is in his room, like, "I don't know why I'm here."
Something along those, like, oh shit.
It's like a fucking unicorn in his room or something, like, what the fuck?
That's the beautiful thing is like, again, we only got a teaser, so there's so much more, like there's a lot of room for us to speculate on. And this is what, nowadays movies really feed on.
And also let's give a hand clap to John Watts, because he directed all 3 Spider-Man movies, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's also directing the Fantastic Four movie whenever we get that. So this guy is like doing the Lord's work right now.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. There is no coincidence that man is doing it, because I predicted this, and that shit is on this show. You can go find the episode. I predicted that when they brought Fantastic Four into this world, they are going to bring him in through Spider-Man. Because I'm telling you, One of the best.
That would only make sense. I mean, Spider-Man and Fantastic Four are some of the Marvel characters that came first, so that would only make sense to me.
But it's also they also had their first appearances together as well early on in the series.
So I feel like that's only makes sense to do that.
So that's where I feel like now that's my prediction. My prediction since John, you said John Watts?
Yeah.
John Watts, if he's making Fantastic Four, I'm going to predict it right now here in August. The after credit scene for No Way Home, Fantastic Four.
Think Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four. Because, and it's funny because
I want to put this out there too, since we're making a prediction. For me, I say the after credit scene for Spider-Man. I say that Spider-Man. Come on, man. We know Tobey in a minute. I say Tobey and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's help Tom Holland like put everything back and get these villains back, except for one. I say one of these villains doesn't go back. I say they close whatever multiverse for whatever they're doing in this movie, but one of those villains doesn't go back. And I don't even take it a step further and say, let's see, who would be a villain that would not go back, that would be dangerous as shit if they didn't get back and we thought they went back? Either Doc Ock or Green Goblin. Because they're smart as shit. So if they didn't go back and they're still here, like, oh shit.
Because one of the things that you could get happen, and that these are just speculations again, because we love this shit, but one of the things that could also happen is that you could actually wind up having one of these guys replace their variant self in the world. Because it's like, wait, so if I understand this multiverse correctly, there should be, you're telling me if the multiverse is filled with possible variants, then it's possible that that means that somewhere within this world is a Norman Osborn. So I could go and replace him if I wanted to. Like, I can go and become this new Norman Osborn here and just kill him and then just assume.
Or not always kill, or work with him. You could do like Back to the Future, which is meta because we talk Back to the Future. Remember, old Biff came back and talked to himself. Young Biff gave him the almanac. He was planning shit to himself. So that happened.
Another way to do it. You could. That's one of the things, and we've seen that in Loki, which is Loki's working together in order to. That's literally the gist of the show. Loki's working together to.
Don't count that out either. That Norman Osborn can find himself, tell him, and explain to him what's going on. I'm from Earth 616. This and that. If we work together, we can do X, Y, and Z.
Another one that I know that you want to be in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but another group of bad guys that I know you're looking for to show up is the Inheritors. It's very possible that they can show up as well. Where it's like,
and maybe they don't want to make it as dark as the books where these motherfuckers eat people. You could make it like that old movie Life Force where they more so like drain people, like in that way. If you wanted to not do it in such a dark way.
Wait, let me just throw something else in there just so you do it. In terms of the Inheritors, they're basically like vampires.
No, I know.
They're almost like vampires, almost as if they could have a hunter on their ass.
Oh yeah. And then that's how you could bring Blade into the food.
All I'm gonna say is, what's funny is we're looking forward to this, and there's a movie that also could be just as amazing. All of these crossovers and amazingness is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because basically what we already know, because Doctor Strange movie comes after this, is that they're not gonna fix stuff.
Oh yeah.
Save whatever day that they have going on right here, right now, but ultimately. We already know.
The only movie that seems like it's gonna connect, but not affect a lot of these other stuff is Eternals, and that's only from the trailer when they were saying how come you haven't helped before, and they were saying because we were instructed not to, and then they showed the Centennial things or whatever, which I thought was fun. They're gonna bring that shit to life. Holy shit!
The Celestials, yeah.
Celestials, I meant. Yeah, like, they don't bring that to light. That's fucking awesome. But I'm like, so their story might be something else entirely. It might it might still connect. Because, like, literally, they tell you in the trailer, like, I could be the new leader of the Avengers. So, like, they know what's going on. But I think, like, they're going to have their own, like, kind of story and then connect.
Here's something that I want to happen that I don't know if Kevin Feige, if I asked him, he would just, like, smile at me and then walk away like, I guess we'll have to wait and see. So I don't know if you know much about in the comic that Thanos has a son, like a real blood son.
Yeah, I know that.
Thane, and this guy is he's a problem. That's what I'm gonna say. He's a problem. So again, it's one of those things.
Yeah, you're making me remember too that we're still gonna get Love and Thunder too. Yo, this, oh my god, my brain is.
Love and Thunder. We already know that Noel is coming at some point. So here's the crazy thing: we are just on the cusp of this universe, of this new saga that's happening. One, we don't know what saga this is because we didn't even know this is the Infinity Saga until we watched fucking Avengers. We didn't know this is the Infinity Saga because once we saw Thanos, we know his main goal is to get the gloves. So somehow we're gonna get Infinity.
And there's still so much story to tell and so much to do too. Because you're also making me remember. I haven't forgotten the fucking after credit scene of the second Guardians, which was Adam Warlock. So. Like, I know they still doing that, so...
Haven't forgot him. You need to also figure out where, with all of this stuff that happened, also, another person who will most likely be in Doctor Strange 2 or in No Way Home, where the fuck is Mordo? Dude, like 10 movies.
Right. That's right. We see, and then they did confirm that Riri Williams is going to appear in Black Panther 2.
I'm okay with that.
Which actually makes sense because there's an issue in her series where she goes to Wakanda.
and they already introduced it in the movies because of the way that Black Panther ended, which was T'Challa standing there in the hood.
Oh my God, that is so right because they're creating programs to work with different people.
I wonder how she's gonna come on. Wait, go back. We got to go back to the trailer for a second for Spider-Man before we end it. One other thing that is also another Easter egg. So we know in terms of villains, there might have been sightings of Sandman. There might have been sightings of Electro. We know for sure that Goblin is.
Goblin. We know that Goblin and Doc Ock. That's it. But just because it's a fucking MCU movie and fuck them for being so good, I guarantee you that there's going to be another villain that probably shows up that we're not even thinking about. Like that.
I'm gonna give him to you right now. Wait a second. I'm gonna give him to you. Just hang on. I'm gonna pull up his picture right now for you, and I'll tell you exactly how. And I'm gonna tell you. Wait. You ready for this? I'll tell you where this villain came from in terms of storyline, and you'll be like, "Oh, these niggas going there." I'm pulling him up right now. Wait, his name is Mr. Negative. That's a funny, hilarious name. But this guy here, I'm pretty sure fans will be able to give him that. Mr. Negative. Nice. Now, Mr. Negative has appeared recently in the PS4 video game. Now, one thing I've told people for many years, as friends and fans and whatever, Marvel and these guys, when they're putting things in other areas like video games, t-shirts, this, that, and the other, that shit's not for nothing.
Yeah, because that's true. Because they put when they did the other video game and they put Miss Marvel in it, and I was like, they put Miss Marvel in here.
Oh, I wonder if he has a fucking TV show that's coming on. They don't do it for nothing. So, Mr. Negative, the reason why is if you look back, there's a scene. Well, there's only one scene in this teaser trailer with Spider-Man running through that same suit and that pop you have, that black and white suit, but he has no mask on. If you look above his head, he's inside of a shelter, which his Aunt May actually, it was in the last movie where they had him in the suit and they were doing the whole fundraiser for. It's in a fundraiser acronym, Feast. Who's the founder of Feast? Mr. Negative. He's already there. Look at the universe. Wait. Here's another thing. You know when Mr. Feast comes into there? Let me go ahead and look up first appearance of Mr. Negative, Martin. Brand New Day.
Brand New Day. Don't even forget. Really? I wonder. Don't forget. Also, don't forget about Vulture.
He's still alive.
Don't forget about Vulture. Still alive.
Wait, oh my God! Wait, you just brought at the end.
And don't forget about. And then don't forget
Scorpion.
And then he met Scorpion. And then don't forget about Kraven the Hunter, who another character who could show up.
Who's playing him again? Oh, the dude who played Quicksilver, right?
I think so, but
yeah,
I'm just saying that when it comes to after watching Endgame, where they just pulled out all this shit we weren't even expecting, I just expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. Yep. The Amazing Spider-Man #1, May 2007, with Dan Slott, drawn by Phil Jimenez, Mr. Negative's first appearance. In that series, Amazing Spider-Man #1 appears as the new issue right after Brand New Day.
So let's say, look. So what you're saying is, this weekend I'm gonna go to the comic book store and be like, "Hi, how you guys doing?" The first appearance of Mr. Negative. I'm gonna go ahead and snatch that up right now while it's probably still regular price.
I'm gonna tell you where it is right now.
Just a little bit heightened up.
That book, because I already own that book. That book is in the $3 bin at JC Comics.
Nice.
Right now, it's in there. The way you know the cover is that it actually has what's his face on the cover. Spider-Man's on the cover, and he's like jumping with like a camera, and his mask is like halfway up, and it says like "Brand New Day," and it's like, oh, cool.
I mean, I gotta check the ones I have. I may have it, not even freaking know it.
I'm sure you probably
so many books I've had that I don't even know.
Which is like, wait, I'm trying to see. I'm looking him up because I actually don't remember his origin. So the snakehair who had a criminal record in the U.S. and China took Martin Lee's identity papers. He became Mr. Negative, determined to become a crime lord and take revenge on. There was a new mafia that showed up called Magia. But I'm pulling up his thing. I'm just trying to figure out if there's any way he could show up. Yeah. Wow, it's funny. This guy, he's Chinese born, so he can even show up in Shang-Chi if they wanted to. Jesus Christ.
I think that Shang-Chi is gonna tie back to Iron Man 1 and some other events.
Wait, he's as a wealthy and well-held philanthropist, the man known as Martin Lee uses his financial resources to help those in need through his organization called Feast. But in his other identity, that of the ruthless underworld figure, Mr. Negative, he uses his extra-dimensional energy powers to corrupt anything he touches as leader of a criminal empire. I'm also let you know too, Spider-Man had to get a suit in order to fight this guy. So that's another Marvel Legends and Funko Pop that's gonna be as well.
That could be the reason why he's wearing a black suit also.
Oh, well, I'm gonna say I would be surprised if he is, but I would say Martin Lee, the Chinese guy, just might appear in this movie as like, yo, that would be hilarious. It was just like Aunt May just meets up with him like, oh my God, Martin, he's so cool. And little do you know, this guy's a fucking like criminal. Like he's a criminal who can literally like murder people with his extra dimensional power.
If they wanted to add some comedy to this, and like, let's say they weren't going to do anything huge with Mr. Negative, he's just got to make an appearance. They could make it, what's his name from The Hangover?
Kim Jong?
Yeah, Kim Jong. They can make him Mr. Negative.
You know what? I would say,
especially since he played a crime boss before.
that would be hilarious. Like, ha ha ha, Aunt May, look at you. Like he did.
And then he go downstairs like, all right, motherfucker, get back to work.
Wait, that moment where he's in the car and he's like, toodaloo, motherfucker. Spider-Man, like, what are you doing, Mr. Negative? Like, but hey, like, there's so many. This is what I'm excited about when it comes to, like, I know there are people out there who, some people we know, some people who are just online that agree that they're ready to just go on home and they're not here for the rest of this stuff that's going on. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I am here for all of the expansion of this.
I mean, we've been waiting to see this shit since. We've been waiting to see this shit since we were kids. So yeah, I'm here for it.
I think that's one of the big reasons for me why I personally believe that some of those people are in the belief of what they are. Some of those people weren't got.
Oh well, yeah, you are here for the long haul. If you read all this stuff as a kid, and you think when we were kids, when I was like 12, 15, I'm like, wow, man, wouldn't it be cool if they made all this live action? If I could come in a time machine and be like, well, young Ronnie, let me tell you what's gonna happen when you turn this age. Like, what? Oh yeah, and I actually said that at work once. I was like, if I could get in a time machine and go back to my younger self and tell them all the stuff that you love as a kid is gonna be live action. I said my younger self would be like, Mom, there's a strange man in my room. Ah!
He's like, I'm you. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm you. Calm down. It'd be like big, like, calm down. I'm you.
And they gonna run in the room with a baseball bat, like, get away from my
yeah, you're like, ah!
Please don't kill me.
Every time she hits me with the bat, then younger me is getting bruises like, ah!
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. Like, that's like, but again, if we're basing it on the Marvel logic, then you just exist in another time stream, and if you're hurt, then that other one's not hurt. Based on the nebula time stream. So that's all a little kooky with the time travel stuff. I'm just hoping that, like, with the multiverses and the time travel stuff, there is a chance. I know it's very slim, but there is a chance where they could fuck this up, because it always. I'm telling you, it gets dicey. I'm telling you, as a fan of the comics and reading these stories, it gets real fucking dicey when it gets to these stories with the problem, man.
The problem that where I have, and I guess I'm just drinking the Marvel Disney Kool-Aid. They done gave me 10 years of dope shit, bro. So I can't. It's very hard. It is very hard for somebody to sit me down and be like, "Yo, they might fuck this up," because my brain is just like, "But they don't. They gave me. Have you seen what they produced in the last 2 years? Cause that shit dope as fuck." Even Avengers Age of Ultron, which is like my least favorite, it was still a dope movie overall. It was still dope.
Yeah, you can't deny it was still good. But it just might not have had all the agreeable points with you. And it was
that shit was dope. I mean, I watched the first Avengers movie. I think I watched that shit like 6 or 7 times when it first came out. I ain't never watched no other movie that many times in my life. Besides maybe
you at least like 4 of those times.
Besides maybe Hollow Man. I feel like shout out to
Jesus Christ.
Shout out to Kevin Bacon, because I think Hollow Man and Clueless and a few others. I feel like we seen that shit multiple times when they came out. Like opening weekend, like, oh, did you see Hollow Man this weekend? Yeah, 3 times. 3 times. Like,
yo, what was crazy is I remember that. It's a fun thing. I remember the fact that you took me to see it a bunch of times, and then I went to camp. And they was like, "Oh, we going to the movies, y'all. Guess what we watching? Hollow Man." I'm like, "Damn!"
You're like, not again.
Like, you seen it already? I'm like, "Yo, this would be like my 5th viewing." Like, fucking say this movie.
Yeah, even when we walked up to the window to buy tickets, I remember Toby at the New York movie theater. He was like, "Yo, y'all here to see us again? Yeah, y'all must love it." You know what? He just let us in for free.
Yeah, at some point it's like you just want to watch it. You just wait for a book report on it. Which to me it's like it's hilarious. Going back, like that movie now, I've recently seen it like maybe the last 2 years, and I was just like, oh, I forgot that there was like he did some not safe for work things in this movie as being invisible, like raped a woman and fondled a woman. I just like,
oh yeah, you know what else is also meta in that movie? Josh Brolin's in that movie, and I didn't even really.
Young as shit in that movie. Little young Thanos in there. Yeah. And he gets his ass whooped by Hollow Man.
Yeah. Like, Kevin Bacon whooped that ass.
Which is hilarious because if you look at that whole thing, both of them in that movie would years later both wind up in Marvel movies.
Yep.
And
Elizabeth Shue is in that movie too.
Yeah, Elizabeth Shue's in that movie. But like they both died in different ways. Like Kevin Smith, Kevin, not Kevin.
Oh, there was no fucking coming back for Kevin Bacon in that movie. That nigga fell down an elevator shaft.
Oh wait, in Hollow Man, yeah.
Yeah, in Hollow Man.
That dude got a fucking quarter forced through his skull and his brain and came back.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he just gonna kill any chance of the Hellfire Club coming into the MCU.
They're like
take that off the table right now. But never know with the MCU. But
I mean, with multiverses, you could bring him back.
We certainly can. I would love to see a Sebastian Shaw and a real Hellfire Club done differently.
But now, since we're winding down, I thought the best person that could help us wind down is Nathan Morris of Boys to Men.
What?
Nathan Morris from Boys to Men. But you know, he ain't sing that song himself. So you need one. No, I got these in the mail today. I'm still waiting for Sean. I didn't get Sean. They didn't send Sean yet, but I got 2 out of 3. Even though it's 4 members of Boyz II Men, they only made 3 pops.
No, man, there's 3. There's 3.
No, there's 4, isn't it? No, there's 4.
Nah, look at the back of that box. There's 3.
No, there is 4 because there's the deep voice dude.
Nah.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Funko, like, nah, it's 3. Nah, it's 3.
It's 3. We're not playing around.
I'm wondering maybe unless he didn't want. Now that I learned that from, I forgot who told me that because different talent can also request not to be a pop if they don't want to.
Correct. You're like, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
So I don't know unless maybe you're like, yo, I ain't making no problem from that. Nah, I won't be no problem. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, like some people just don't feel good about the fact that it's just like, well, you may not necessarily own the property itself, so you may not be getting anything from this. Other than the fact that one of the things that bringing Funko Pops around, because it's basically free promotion for your brand, it also does reignite people buying merchandise and posters and music and things like that. So it always brings you into the current relevancy right now. So that's why some people are like, yeah, you know what? Go ahead and make a pop with 16 candles. A bunch of people will go run out and rent the movie or you know. I can
kind of funny. That's kind of funny. There are pops with 16 candles.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Molly Ringwald, which I was so sad. I forgot. That was one person I met as a celebrity that I was very sad that she wasn't. You know how they say don't meet your heroes?
Yeah.
She wasn't who I would expect she was. When I met her, she was very like, and everybody has their day, so I'm not gonna like fault her for it. But she was very grouchy the day we met her because people were trying to ask her about her old movies, and she was just like, "We're here talking about this. Why are we?" It's like, "Cause you're Molly Ringwald, and we don't give a shit about
because you're an icon, dude."
I mean, to be honest, like we're all here. I think we were at AOL. We're all here, and it's like, oh my God, we're getting a chance to meet Molly Ringwald, even though she's older. We're getting a chance to meet Molly Ringwald. How are we getting excited about a project that none of us in this audience have watched? Like, you know, like, that's what made it kind of dickish, where you like read the room. The only person who probably read this is the interviewer on the stage because they had to ask you questions about it. So we're not a part of the press, so we don't know. This isn't a press junket where everybody's sitting here is there. So that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I was literally going to ask her a question, but like the way she kind of shot somebody down beforehand, when they got to me, I just passed my mic like, fuck her. I was like, yo, fuck her. Like, I'm not getting myself set up for that guillotine. You're going to slice me in half because I'm going to be like, when you were in the Breakfast Club. Like, you know,
and she's going to be like, let's talk about the movie. And she's going to be like, let's talk about the movie now.
Oh, yeah, let me talk about this movie. I ain't never seen it. Like, I'm just sitting there like,
we still love you. We still love you though, Molly.
We love you, Molly. Like, you know, again, you just have, it seems like you were going through the motions, and I always give a pass to most people unless you are a absolutely positively direct dick on purpose or an asshole on purpose. then yeah, you deserve whatever. But most people are not like that. Most people have their days. I don't know. Somebody might have had a bad upset stomach. Somebody might be sitting at a press junket and they got to take a shit. Like, I don't know. Whatever the case it is, we're all human and we still love you for what you've given us in terms of you still gave us the art, you know, as Chadwick said before. With that said,
bringing
we're
it
on down now because it is, for us right now, it is late. But for you,
it's super early. I could go another 2-3 hours doing this.
Okay, sure. I'm just get off the line and just let you sit there and talk to yourself.
Oh, okay.
That's all good. But we do appreciate you. So just recapping again, we got a chance. I'm so happy that we got a chance to, you know, dive into the trailer.
We talked about
Punk.
We talk about how fucking awesome Spider-Man No Way Home's gonna be. The return.
We also talked about how shitty WWE still is.
And the last pay-per-view sucked. I'm just gonna call it what it is. You know, still love WWE. I'm still a supporter. Still gonna watch.
And we're ready to see good guy Brock Lesnar, which is what we're gonna get. We're gonna get good guy Brock Lesnar.
I don't know about good guy, but
he's gonna be a baby. He's coming as a baby.
I don't think he's the good guy. I just think he's the guy we want to see right now. That's it. Like that's it. I don't know about good guy because if you saw what he did to John Cena. Good guys don't do that,
he's gonna be an anti-hero.
We're gonna get like anti-hero Brock. We're not gonna get like full on. I'm a good guy like Cena Brock. I don't think we're ever gonna get
to take it on home. The only thing I'm looking forward to seeing is seeing him F5 Paul Heyman. That would make my year.
No.
I want to see him. Like, I
don't need
Paul Heyman. Fuck out of here. Oh!
I'm gonna tell you right now, before we wrap it up, I'm gonna tell you right now, Paul Heyman is loyal to Brock Lesnar. If it comes down to it at a pay-per-view, and Paul Heyman has to choose between Roman and Brock, Roman is gonna get F5.
I'll put it to you like this. Here's what's gonna happen, right? If he decides to do that, then I'm telling you what's gonna happen before it happens. If he decides that he's unsure where his loyalty lies, if he's not the advisor of the tribal chief, that dude we gonna watch him get jumped by 3.
I mean, he's the advisor of the tribal chief, but he is the advocate for Brock Lesnar.
So what you're saying is
it is a no-brainer, unless they're going to create more shitty-ass storylines, it is a no-brainer that Paul Heyman is going to go back with Brock. They have too much history. This is too much history.
It would not make any sense for him to not.
It's too much history. Unless if they want to do something new, you could have him doing it for both, but I don't think that's going to work ultimately.
He's like, listen, Roman, I am friends with him, but I am your advisor. All I see is Paul Heyman just getting punked all the way around. I just see him definitely.
I mean, they can try jumping. They can try the tribal chief and the Usos jumping Brock, but I don't know. You might need some more guys.
What's real funny is that all the shit with him, he is the perfect example of what we were saying before: stakes, believability. I need to believe that a guy can come out there and beat up 3 dudes. We've
seen what this guy's capable of. I've seen this man put Rey Mysterio on a stretcher, tie him to that stretcher, and toss it into a steel post. So he's very capable of dangerous shit. So.
I look forward to seeing them fight because,
and I'm so glad that he's gonna be on SmackDown because it would just be hilarious to see Brock run into Matt Riddle in the hallway.
If anybody doesn't know, Matt Riddle and in real life, these guys had words where he's like, "Yo, Matt, keep my name out your fucking mouth."
I'll punch you in.
Fucking mouth.
He ain't say that exactly. We're paraphrasing.
If this is word for word, Brock Lesnar. Yo, Matt, keep my name out your fucking mouth. I'm not fighting you, you whack. Get the Patriots back to NXT.
I could tell him. I could see him showing up like, yeah. Just say, keep your fucking ass out of my business. All right, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking mouth. And I can see him just saying something simple like that and walking off. And Matt Riddle trying to keep it together and pretend like, yo, bro.
Yo, I can see Randy Orton coming over and grabbing Brian like, come on, man, get your fucking hands off. What's wrong with you, Randy? I'll fuck you.
They don't bust your
hands on you too.
They not bust your head over in a few years ago.
Bro, cool. It's all good. Like, that's just my boy. I can't let you do that. He's like, yo, Randy, yo, shut the fuck up. Don't you got kids? You don't know all these kids? Huh? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, man.
But again, believability. So, with that said, that's the word of the day.
Make sure to hit that wonderful like and subscribe button if you like what you heard, or even if you fast forwarded through half of this shit just to hear the parts you wanted to hear.
And if you're listening audio-wise, we do appreciate all of your support as well. Checking us out on all the podcast forums, like whatever your favorite podcast forum, Anchor, Spotify. We're pretty much on all of them, so just check us out on there. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. If you got any comments, anything you want to add on to this, please definitely go on to our social media channels. You can find me directly at Markell D. Wilson, and Ronnie is also Ronnie Gorham. So, it's just our names. We're you can always
just send me a message. Look, if you send me a message there, I'm probably not going to look at it.
He's honest. He's honest.
Stop.
I will probably, if I look at your name, I'll probably go, oh, it's for the show. Okay. It's for the show.
I'm sorry, who are you? No, let me stop.
It's like, I don't even know who you are. But with that said, this is another episode of the Ronnie Markell Make It Podcast Zoom edition. And for our audio friends out there, just another episode for you to listen to us. Thank you for once again allowing us to entertain you. I am Markell.
And I'm Ronnie.
And we will say a good night.